Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Aeroflow Race for Real here at Sydney Dragway. My name's Stuart White, also known as the Pocket Rocket. I hope you're all having a great week so far. Joining me in commentary tonight, we call him Mr. Holden. He loves them. Unfortunately, he's got the laser beams out at the moment because there's the Ford on track. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mark Thomas.
Hey, Stu, how you going, mate?
Mate, I'm doing well. It's always good to be back here at the place where excitement lives. Our Wednesday night church, we call it. We welcome everybody who's watching via the live stream on Facebook and YouTube. G'day, everyone. Hope you guys are well and get ready for some great action. Mark's already picked out a few cars that he's got his eye on, and personally, I don't blame him because they are going to go ballistic when they hit the track. We've got a few cars that were sitting out the back with some radials on them, which is always a good sign.
It is a good sign indeed, Stuart. These guys are chasing a bit of traction, so the stickier the better. Get them out there, launch them hard, and see what you get at the other end. So plenty of those cars there.
Yeah, well, cooler conditions out here this week. Of course, last week we were rained out, unfortunately, but this week, you know, the weather is still around, but, you know, it should suit a few of these more street-based turbo cars.
Yes, yep.
Obviously, the cars with the radials, it might suit them. May not get as much heat in the tyres they would probably like, but, hey, everyone's in the same boat.
They are.
And it's trying to get car off the line without too much wheel spin. Joe Zurab is watching the live stream. G'day, Joe.
Ah, excellent. It's good to see you on the live stream. We've got people coming from all over the world dialing in, watching the good old Aussie homegrown drag racing stuff. So, and we do have plenty of that down. Sitting down the Burnout box in there at the moment. You got a VP Commodore and a VK right next to it.
Yeah, Dean Hay out there in Infamous. Of course, this car, he uses it for the burnouts, puts it in a lot of car shows, but he's not scared to drive it, and that's the best part. He loves that thing, and we love seeing it out here as well. He's a great guy. I speak to Dean on Facebook on the odd occasion, and we get on quite well. But I'll tell you what, this VP, is it, Mark, down here in the Rocket Lane?
Yes, it is, yep.
Super clean, isn't it?
It is very, very tidy car. Yeah, and as you say, Stu, like Infamous, you build them to drive them.
Absolutely.
You enjoy what you've done, and there's nothing better, and especially when you can get it in all forms of motorsport, whether it's burnouts, whether it's track racing, whether it's just straight out drag racing.
Of course, big news here at Sydney Dragway during the week, Mark. Of course, we had a test day on Saturday, and look, big congratulations go to Rob Margin and the Croydon Racing Developments crew. They took the new RB record for the fastest pass. And
excellent.
Not the quickest pass. Obviously, that is still in Matuk's Racing.
Yep.
Anthony's with it, with the Don. But Rob Margin, that car, Zeus, the new R35 full tube frame, took the record as the fastest RB in the world. So we've got the fastest RB from Croydon, and we've got the quickest car elapsed time-wise from Matuk's, both from here in Sydney and both from Australia. So look, big, huge congratulations to both those workshops, what they do. But Anthony put a post up during the week, Mark, and he said, you know what, we're going to have to dust the covers off the Don and have another healthy battle on the drag strip. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes out, because I'll tell you what, it's always friendly rivalry between Croydon and Matuk's. And as I said on numerous occasions too, you know, like, in America and Puerto Rico, the home of sport compact drag racing, you know, news travels fast. And, you know, for our drag scene to have two top-performing import cars doing their thing here in Australia, and the whole world sitting up and taking notice and going, what? It's like, it's awesome. It is so good to see.
It's sensational, especially when you see, you know, like we have some of these major meetings, and the guys are just breaking records out of records. street meet. Those Lancers we had out here.
Oh, the
like in
Evos,
one night.
Yeah.
Like cracking 2 records in one night on a street prep track.
And in a way, I think there's a little bit more in it with those things.
Yep.
Obviously, the weather was still fairly warm when they were out here and they're running those records. But, once the air temperature starts to cool down a little bit, we get a nice sunny day. If they bring those things back out, I think we'll see that record broken again.
100%. Yep. Get them onto a race prep track. The guys aren't going to be chasing them as hard as what they are, because out here on a street prep track, they're driving them. They're working hard to keep these things pointing in the right direction. So, we'll see some really big records out of those cars.
Well,
those guys.
The Evos do like a little bit of a loose track rather than a full prep track. But having said that, you put a little bit extra prep down, and where it's just that little bit tighter. But bearing in mind, and as you know, Mark, you've been around the scene a long time. 4-wheel drives and drag racing sometimes don't mix, and drive shafts don't particularly like it. But nevertheless, look at this drag van coming up the return road. How cool is that? Yeah,
that is a great looking car. Credit to you, mate.
Absolutely. Lock up your daughters. That is sensational.
We don't see a lot of panel vans these days, not compared to the back in the earlier days where every man and his dog had a muralled panel van with a really mongrel motor in it.
Oh yeah, I'm yet to see. I mean, I may be a little bit too young, but I've always wanted to see a drag van with a big 671 hanging out of the bonnet. Big blown Hemi over the top. G'day to Psyop, of course. DJ Prowse. G'day DJ Prowse. Had an actual talk to him the other week by accident. I pocket dialed him, and we're having a little bit of a video chat. Really nice bloke. Nice to put a face to the name. Is that you down there in the Aeroflow lane? 11:25 at 120 miles an hour. Thank you very much.
Good pass. 13.0, 108 for the rocket lane as well. Well, running right up behind him, we've got another ute down here. But the GTS Monaro, it is just absolutely mint. Like, you got yourself a genuine GTS Monaro, probably worth about 150k.
All right, least.
Just bring her out and have some fun.
And you know what? I think if you were to ask any Holden fan in Australia what their favourite Holden is, I think a lot of them would say an HK GTS Monaro. I mean, I'm a Walkinshaw fan, always have been.
Yeah.
I love them. But the HK GTS, that body shape, it's just oozes motorsport and oozes style. And look at that, 11.19 at 89.
Yeah, and 11.7 out of the ute. Well, Stu, if you ask me my favourite, I'd just say look down at the Aeroflow lane.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. The TOS 355 down there. Now, I was going to say an A9X, but am I right?
Yeah.
Or I am right? Okay, just wanted to double check because, that's a bit before my time, the old Tiranas. But this one's actually got radials on the rear end of it. It does have a roll cage, and most of all, it's got that beautiful drop tank hanging off the bottom of it. But I'll tell you what, the Commodore in the rocket lane, the amount of wheel spin out of this car, it comes out just about every week here at Aeroflow Race for Real. And in 11.93 with the 6 to a 12.49 there for the radial shod Tirana.
Have a look down at the track there, Stewie. Look at the chatter marks from the tyre out of that VS.
That's nice. All right, 383 cow. The Holdens have come out to play tonight here at Aeroflow Race for Real. Don't forget, if you need parts for your car, don't forget, guys, Aeroflow Performance. Do grab yourself a copy of the catalogue or jump onto the website. They've got a huge amount of stock and it's growing all the time, guys. So make sure you do that. If you need anything built for your car, guys, and give Platinum Racing Products a call. Those guys are doing a lot of work for a lot of cars at the moment. I know. Something's now come off that Commodore at about 3/4 track.
One of us thrown a belt or something.
It looks like a belt.
Yeah. But I tell you what, 10.7, 125 miles, it wasn't hanging around.
No.
It's a tough car. Mate,
Yeah. Yep.
stuff doesn't fall off. They just decide they don't need it and it froze it off. Yeah.
I'd like to welcome Metal Magic Restoration from Whitefish in Montana. G'day, guys. Hope you guys are having a great time over there, enjoying the action so far. We're only just kicking it off too, so hopefully plenty more to come. We've got the bikes not too far away either, and I can tell you, if you're in the US, make sure you tune in, guys, because we've got a guy that's turned up on a big Harley-Davidson bagger, and it's about 120 horsepower at the rear tyre.
Yeah, it's a monster, this thing.
It is huge. It is huge. So we're going to have that bike come out very, very soon. But as I was saying, guys, if you need anything built for your car, or you've got something in the works, definitely give Platinum Racing Products a call. I know that they are helping a guy out who, I don't know whether the car's actually raced yet, Mark.
Yep.
But there's a fella that was building a black Nissan Silvia.
Okay.
And they were doing some work for that car there, and we look forward to that coming out very, very soon. Of course, if you need fluids for your cars, Atlantic Oils, #1. One of our great sponsors here of Sydney Dragway. And of course, if you need fuel, VP Racing Fuels.
Mate, they are the one.
Yep.
Yeah, they supplied us with fuel for a long time. We used to get all our stuff from them, and it was just absolutely superb, mate. They were one of the reasons that thing really motivated well.
Yeah. Jet Black said Pro Street step-throughs.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. No. Actually, I must admit, Jet Black, I've never actually seen anybody ever pimp out a step-through. Not saying that it hasn't happened, but I've actually never seen one with like fully pimped out. I reckon that'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can buy some really trick stuff for them too. In aftermarket. Yeah, you can. Yeah, they really load them. Yep. That wasn't a Holden.
We've just got a little bit of fluid down the end of the Aeroflow lane, guys, in the braking area. So we're just holding up racing for the moment. Cowskin seat cover? Yeah, well, I don't know, Jet Black. I couldn't tell you. I mean, there might be people...
Yeah, there's a bald cow.
There might be some people up in the crowd that have seen some pretty pimped out mini motorcycles in their time as well.
You know what, Stu, we might go up to the big screen. Yep. We'll take a little bit of a break just while we have this bit of a clean up down the bottom end of the track. We'll be back with you very, very shortly here, Aeroflow, Race the Reel.
How would it be if we funded a pilot program for you to run that enabled you to bring some vision-impaired kids onto the Saints Play program?
Oh wow, that would mean the world. My reward is the smile on the kids' faces.
And since you've given so much to others, we'd also like to do something for you personally. How would it feel if Pepper sent you, your partner, and your daughter Molly to the Gold Coast for a few days?
Yeah, awesome. I don't know what to say. It amazes me. Thank you very much.
Stay informed, up to date and entertained thanks to the Western Weekender. The Western Weekender is Penrith's leading free and local newspaper, delivering the best content from on-the-ground journalists and providing businesses with direct access to potential customers. News, sport, entertainment, puzzles and so much more. The Western Weekender is the heartbeat of Penrith and it's out every Thursday. Get your free copy at selected locations in the area, home delivered, or check out westernweekender.com.au.
At a competitive price. We have a range of turbochargers in both ceramic ball bearing and 360-degree journal bearing options to suit your power goals from 200 up to 3,000 horsepower. To help turbocharge your vehicle, Aeroflow Performance also have a large range of turbocharger accessories, from steam pipe turbo manifolds, external wastegates, and internal exhaust solutions. You can have your car boosted with motor. For a full listing, check out aeroflowperformance.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Aeroflow Race for Reals. We've just had a wicked-sounding Mustang go down at 11.17.
We've got a nice little line-up here. Hemi versus Chev.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, I saw this Cortina as I was coming into the track tonight, and man, did it sound good. Hey, we've got a message through, Mark, from Missy Nowak. I do apologise, Missy, if I pronounce that wrong. Big shout-out to Mick in the blue HQ Ute. Happy 26th wedding anniversary. Love, Missy.
Excellent. Well done. Congratulations, I said.
So, Mick, don't let Missy down. She's watching the live stream.
Look at the marks, the burnout marks down here from this Centura. Look at the big kick out just as he's come through the start. Definitely trying to catch hold of that one before it got a little bit too loose.
Well, it's got a set of radials on the rear end of it too. It's certainly got the old school setup as well for drag racing.
Yeah, it has indeed. Got the backside high in the air, nose down.
Might be Sleeks actually, because he...
Oh,
Well, I'll tell you what,
geez.
bit of attitude with a capital A. Joe Sabello, though, an 896 at 151. Joe is back in the house.
He is back, mate. A 132 in the 60 foot, so that car is now hooking up. I wonder if he has put a new set of slicks under that like he reckoned he was going to do last meeting.
I hope he has, Mark, but look at that. 10.62
Yes.
from the Centura, and it was not happy at all.
No, 142 miles an hour. So, yeah, it's got all the gear, but, geez, it just lit the tyres off the line, and he just had to pedal it all the way through.
Well, we're into the bikes, and next week is going to be pretty huge. Sydney Random Rides, who are fantastic supporters, not just of Sydney Dragway, but of Aeroflow Race for Real as well. They're bringing the whole flotilla out next week. They've organised a big cruise. And look, there's people that are coming from the northern beaches who I happen to know, lucky buggers. They're on their way up. They're all meeting up. There's going to be a massive amount of motorcycle riders here next week. Not only racing, but also supporting the races that are out there as well. So we look forward to the whole gang of Sydney Random Rides making their way out here to Sydney Dragway.
Mate, it's good to see the guys come out because they have just such a great night. And there's a bit of competition going between them all. They all very competitive. So it makes a really good night. He's gone quiet.
No. He knows my answer. He knows what I'm going to say. All right, now, I don't know if this is husband versus wife, because I know that they both come out, but the Hayabusa down there in the Aeroflow lane, straight out towards the centre line, guides it back in, goes 10.02 with a Ford, 142 miles per hour to a 14.57 at 85 miles an hour.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stu, he manhandled that mid-track, didn't he? He had to drag that thing back round, get it in the right direction, because he was going very close to getting out of the race groove there.
It'd be really cool next week if we could get the guy that does cycle drag over in the States, get him out here and have a look at our street bikes that we have here in Sydney, because I know cycle drag do a lot for all styles of motorcycle drag racing, everything from top fuel to your street bikes to the big Harley Davidson bagger, which isn't far away, but you know, I love that channel. I watch it religiously. And can I just say too, ladies and gentlemen, if you get the chance to make this way out here to a big meet, motorcycle drag racing in the last 12 months is back with a vengeance.
It is indeed.
So, all right, the big Harley Davison Baggett out there in the rocket lane. It's got a CD player in it. It's got the full... It's like a limousine on wheels, on 2 wheels. 120 horsepower at that rear wheel.
This is his first time out, isn't it?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, so fresh motor in it.
Well, if it all comes together, the guy who helped him out with the bike reckons it should run an 11, which is pretty crazy for a bike of that weight.
Wow.
Look at that, 11.95 with a 7.
It's not too bad, virtually fresh unit on the track and runs straight out for an 11, which was his prediction. So, yeah good stuff. And 13.5, miles now for the Aeroflow lane.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we deliberately do not have a camera on the return road because, unfortunately, there's a Holden being towed back. And if Paul Galvin's watching the live stream, we'll probably get a text message in the next half an hour or so.
Yeah, that's pretty much guaranteed, I think.
Oh, I think it would be. But no, that's a bit of a shame there for Cal 383.
But I think this is the one, too, that threw the belt down the bottom.
Yeah.
So you couldn't drive it back. It would just overheat.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can get that car repaired and they'll bring it back out.
Yep.
These bikes down here, turning it on, 1045, 140 miles per hour. As Michael Riches comes out now in the Aeroflow lane. And we talk about Sydney Random Rides, and we talk about it for a reason. Michael is a member of Sydney Random Rides, running for AMS water meters on the JAXA. Started off as just a street bike rider. Came out, gave drag racing a go, got hooked, and now he put an extended swing arm on his JAXA 750 and running in modified bike. He's up against the Harley. A 1.76 in the 60 for Michael. And a 10.39 with a 9 at 1.31.
And 11.1, 119 for the Rocket Lane, but you gotta love the sound of that Suzuki down there. Full noise, sensational.
You close your eyes, you think you're at a 500cc Grand Prix.
Yeah, they definitely do have a bit of a F1 sound to them when they're going through the gears.
They sound fantastic. And look, once again, must thank all our motorcycle riders for sticking by us with Aeroflow Race for Real. I know the last 8 months have been really tough for the bike riders, but it's great to have you all back and supporting our event. Oh, the P-plate are popping up the front wheel. Both of them 1.96 in the 60 mark, only a thousandth of a second between them in the 60.
Wow. Just see Rocket Lane had that a little bit more in the top end, 11.9, 113 to a 12.5 at 102. Well, we've got the XD, sounds like it's got a barrier in there.
Well, judging by the number plate, where it's PSI XD,
Yeah.
I think you're right. But I'll tell you what, that wasn't a bad burnout out of that BMW SUV. I think the BMW got scared. Bit of a red light there. That just means he's trying.
Does indeed.
12.36.
Yeah, 11.2, 103 miles an hour. 11.2 and a 103 miles an hour. So miles an hour way down. Big back out from the XD.
If he's a BMW SUV driver, Ben, he's probably got the thermos sitting right next to him. Oh, right. So I thought you were talking about the BMW driver because... Yeah, true. Because normally, like, in our area, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. They drive around in BMWs, Mercedes, and like,
I think the XD was just sitting there trying to build a bit of boost.
I think so too. I hear something that sounds like a rotary downstairs. Good stuff. Wouldn't be a Wednesday night without a rotary. Gotta love rotors. Hey, Cliff. How are you, mate? Welcome to the live stream.
Well, the BMW holding out this Falcon. 13.3, 104 miles an hour to a 14.7, 95 miles an hour.
I actually thought the Falcon might round him up at the deep end, but he didn't. Got the better reaction time, Mark. But
Yeah.
Now, one of our favourite cars here at Sydney Dragway, the little Mazda Familiar wagon. This thing is cool. It's got a set of skinny tyres on all four corners. It's got a little bit of attitude about it. And as I said earlier, you can't beat the sound of a Mazda rotary.
It's
Well, actually, you can, but in sport compact terms,
Yep.
yeah, they sound fat.
It's actually just a great all-round car. It's just so mint condition, and it goes well. So just a few words from our starter to the guy in the Falcon, or person in the Falcon.
Well, guys, if you do love sport compact drag racing, or you just love drag racing in general, and you want something a little bit different, guys, put this in your diaries. On the 6th of July, we've got Grudge Kings 2024.
Wow.
It's going to be a huge event. Now, I did read something today that they're thinking about trying to get another class added to it, but it depends if they get the numbers. They want to have a pro street class, which, I'll be honest, I would be totally up for that. And the man behind it, well, he's synonymous with pro street in this country, Tristan Ockers.
Yes.
Now, he did say he'd probably put Mincer aside, but if they can get this class up and running, he's going to bring out that mad Ford Capri of his, Mincer.
Yep.
And he's going to run the class.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
if they get a pro street class at Grudge Kings,
Bit of paper.
it is going to be unreal.
Yeah. Okay.
And I am a Holden man. I grew up with Holdens.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what, Mincer, without a doubt, is my favourite pro street car in the country. When I first saw that car, and I don't know whether a lot of people in the US have seen the car. I can't vouch for it. I know a lot of people sitting up on the hill or up in the grandstand, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It is a crazy, crazy car.
Do you see he's got the original Capri
Yeah,
still sitting in the driveway at home?
yeah.
It's yeah, and then just they actually run a bit of a special on just before Street Machine for the Summer Nats, and yeah, all about the build up of his getting that car together, and yeah, it's unbelievable the progression of that car, how it went through
It
to
is
where it is
insane,
now.
isn't it? It is,
Yeah.
isn't it? It is amazing. And look, we've seen it many a time, Mark, but Pro Flow Performance,
Yes.
those guys, they are like West End Performance. They
Yep.
are legends in the drag scene and the street scene. And, some of the cars they've churned out over the years are just unbelievable. But that car, Mincer, without a doubt, I'd love to see that car come out here on a Wednesday night.
Oh, me too.
If somebody can get them... Yeah. Oh, here we go. Bad Daddy's asking, didn't Galvin have a nice Pro Street Capri in the 90s?
He did.
Yeah.
Yep, 351 Cleveland. Used to run really low 11s and into the 10s. It was, I called it pink, but he called it another colour.
It was mauve.
But yeah, and done lot of racing and done very well in that car. He built it all himself.
Yeah.
And it got sold off and went to Wollongong, I think, to a guy down there who then done a lot more work to it, spent a lot of money on it, and not sure what's happened from there.
Might have to get in touch with Simon Krieger and see if he knows where that car is. Well, we've got the I-30N down here with the number plates easy off. I did hear a nice I-30N pass me on the way here to the track, actually. It was a manual, and he had the pipes wide open. Wasn't subtle by any stretch of the imagination, but hey, if you're going to drive a car like that, or any car, loud pipes save lives. So I encourage people, if you've got a car, put an exhaust on it. I'll tell you what though, 1432, I actually watched a video from Car Expert, and they actually did a drag race between an I-30N, a Honda Civic Type R, and a Cupra as well.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, those I-30Ns, when they get going, they're pretty quick. Not just in roll racing, but in a roll race scenario, but also in drag racing scenario. I was actually surprised at how quick it was. I thought the Type R would whip them, but didn't happen.
Wow, look at this Supra.
Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. Oh, Yvonne Ruffalo. Of course, the Ruffalo name, a very well-known surname in drag racing. Of course, the Ruffalo clan from the northern beaches of Sydney. And Raphael runs in comp in a very nice-looking altered. And of course, his two sons. Happy birthday, Yvonne. All right, Dean Hay back out in infamous point 107 on the tree there for Dean. But the Toyota down here in the Aeroflow lane, 1.91 in the 60.
I'll tell you what, Stu, nice and straight down the track. 11.91, 16 miles an hour to 17.179 miles an hour. What a great car.
Now, I was really hoping tonight that Tim Sycoles might bring out his Commodore now that it's just been blown.
Yep.
And the new setup that's on it. I would love to have seen Tim out here having a run. I'm yet to see the car with the blower on it.
Stu, a little story about Galvo. He's in the early days of with his cars. He had an XW Genuine GT, and it was one of the late XWs because it had a Clevo in it. There wasn't a real lot of them, and done a lot of racing that and done really well. And he had an old bomb Fairlane.
Yes.
So got bored in the weekend, so he pulled the motor out of the GT and put it in the Fairlane and went out racing.
Oh, Galvo. The thing is, I could see Galvo doing that, but look, a lot of us do miss Galvo here at the track with both commentary and racing. He's still is and always will be an integral part of our Wednesday night Aeroflow race for real here in Sydney. All right, Subaru versus Subaru. The older model, which, as you all know, is still my favourite body shape of Subaru WRX. Bad Daddy said, Mark, I was at school the day it got pinched. The Ute, that
the
is.
Ute? Yeah. Yep.
Ah, that's...
Yeah, it wasn't a one of the highlights of his life, I can tell you.
Yeah.
That, just after it got pinched, the people who stole it had the police on a lot of chases trying to catch them.
Wow.
I think they were just going out and baiting them. And, yeah.
Well, the S15 Sylvia out now in the rocket lane. I have been very, very lucky to drive one of these at the speed limit, but I've been lucky to drive one of these around Bathurst for a lap.
That'd be a good drive.
I can tell you right here and now, as you know, I'm not really a Nissan fan after owning one, having bad experience, but that car, just the way it handles, like I've driven an 86, the original one that came out, not the AE 86, but the current general one. But look, I've driven one. I've got to say, those Nissan S15s would leave it for dead. Handling-wise, they are just unbelievable. I know the 86s get a lot of credit for their handling. They're not super fast, but I'll tell you what, those Sylvias are just unbelievable. As an all-round car, you know, Nissan, as a company, I think they're stupid not to build something now that is similar to that, a modern-day version of that car. As we've got the two Fords out on track now. We've got the panel van up against the sedan.
Well, you definitely can't give the XY a head start like that one.
No.
Never going to chase him down.
11.6.
And 12.5 at 100, 10 miles an hour from the Aeroflow lane.
Well, we've got another beautiful looking VP down here. This one looks like it might be an HSV, Mark.
It is a HSV. It's actually the very first club sport.
Oh, well. He's going to be taking on the R35 GTR. Of course, guys, keep your eyes on motivevideo.com.au and the Motive Video, the Facebook page. Of course, the GTR Festival here at Sydney Dragway is a huge event. It is internationally recognised now because obviously a lot of people from Japan look at it, a lot of people from the States now look at it too. And that's a credit to Andrew Hawkins and his team. And of course, all the owners of these GTRs that are scattered around the country. And 11.9 to a 12.45. That's a pretty good pass.
That is a good pass out of that car, yeah.
All right, the VX SS about to take on the Ford Territory.
$12.5 at 121 miles an hour for the Aeroflow lane, and 14.8, 95 miles an hour.
Well, we got Mick back out in the blue ute. Missy's partner. It's nothing like a ute with a big fat set of rubber on the rear.
It looks great, doesn't it?
Actually, it should be a pretty good race because he's up against the 355 Tirana with the radials on the rear end of it. Should be a pretty close race at the top end. Great to see a lot of old school cars out here this evening for Aeroflow
indeed.
Race for Real. Been a little while since we've seen the chrome bumpers out and about. Oh, the Tirana 1.69, a 1.77 in 60. That ute's got a different sound to it.
It does. Yeah, I sort of thinking it might be turboed. Really come on strong top end. 11.3, 120 miles an hour.
Well, the Camaro up against the Monaro. Well, sorry, the Trans Am, the Pontiac. I hope Craig Lowndes is watching the live stream because didn't he take one of these around Bathurst one year and give it a bootful? The HK?
He may have. I'm not sure, but have you ever listened to the commentary or the discussion from Brocky when they were asking him about when he raced the very first one?
Yeah,
he reckons that's why he got all his skills from, because those things run out of brakes in the first lap. So you drove the rest of the race with no brakes.
Nice.
So you really built your skills of learning how to come into the corner with no brakes.
Of course, Des West.
Yeah, they did, yeah. Yeah, the same for the Falcons and everything. I think those guys are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
They start pumping, there's nothing there.
Well, the VF Commodore up against the VS, or VRVS. Both of them sounding super tough.
Yeah, indeed.
A 1.58 and a 60 there for the VR or the VS. The VF doing the chasing.
Well, he got out of there too, 166, so it was really hooking up.
Jeez. 10.69, 128 out of that Commodore.
That's unbelievable.
In the Aeroflow lane. That is huge. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the Mustang if you're here at the track. That sounded fat from up here in the studio.
Talk about punish it in the burnout.
It would have sounded 10 times better from the grandstand.
Is that an 86 down there?
It is an 86, yeah.
It's got more cameras on it.
Yeah, well, that car is on my wish list. Admittedly, it's the Subaru version. It's on my wish list, but as well as a Ute and a few other cars. But you know, I've still got a couple of years to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realise that, but I think the Subaru looks a little bit better than the Toyota. Just personally with the front end.
So if
Yes,
you have
they're exactly
you have
the
it
same
for
car, but they've got a slightly different front end on them, okay?
after a year, if you get bored of it, you just change the badges. You got a new
True.
car.
That's it. Go on.
Yeah.
I've got to be a bit careful, though, because everybody here that comes to the track, they know I'm a Mazda fan. They see me in a different brand, they're going to go, Rocket, what is going on?
Have a look at. Yeah.
Thank you, Ben.
Have a look at Joe's Skyline.
Oh, no.
It's starting to look like him, old and wrinkly. It's got that many dents around it.
It's probably in a better mood than what Joe is half the
I
time.
reckon it is. It's not as cranky as Joe.
Ooh, it's a race car. Said, I'd love to take a bike down the strip. Hey, that'd be pretty cool. I'd like to take a bike down the strip as well, but admittedly I'd prefer to ride a bike with a wheelie bar. Well, the 86 just easing it off the line and taking on the big Ford Ranger.
Should be interested to see how the Ranger goes.
Well, he's flashing the hazard lights, so two mates obviously having a run against each other.
Yeah.
I reckon he was playing then. A 16-1 to a 15-9.
It's not too bad.
No.
15.9 out of a big four-wheel drive.
Well, he's got, I mean, the 86's got the aerodynamic advantage. He's got the big
Yep.
wing on the rear end of it.
And he backed down real early in the 86, like 61 miles an hour.
Yeah. All right, the VX Commodore is out in the rocket lanes running some nitrous on board. And he's taking on Smokin' Joe Sabello. You know, you would think that Joe would have mates of his that are panel beaters that'd be able to take out some of the dents out of the car, wouldn't you?
I did ask him that, and he just laughed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, bring the Commodore out, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see the 180. I think the 180 is going to be the one.
I've only ever seen in that car once, and it's you know, it's a great looking car, but that Commodore of his, you know, that thing's potent.
Yeah, when you look at the Commodore behind, it's got that big fat rubber up underneath. Because he loves these big tyre cars.
I mean, if he could get that car to run to its potential, there's a 7 in it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll tell you what, I can't wait for Ross the Boss to get back here to Sydney Dragway with his new car. Hopefully Ross is doing some work to that at the moment. We miss you, Ross.
Yeah, well, be interesting to see how that Cortina goes in street form.
Oh, yeah. Joe, 891 with a 5 at 149.
Still getting out there of a great 60 foot. So, yeah, he's definitely got that car back on song.
All right, this beautiful Centura. So easy to put those words in a sentence, beautiful in Centura.
Yeah.
You know, they are not a huge amount of them around the country, but geez, we've got some bad ones here in Australia. The baddest one actually comes from here in Sydney, and we're very lucky that it's still survives. It doesn't get driven very often. As a matter of fact, it's probably sitting in a shed at the moment with a cover over it. It has done for a long time, but of course I am talking about the Sarkis Brothers Racing Agro 1.
Yeah, very well-known car, isn't it?
It was, at one stage, it was the fastest pro-street car in the country.
Yep.
A long, long time ago. And Yeah. That's a little bit better. A little bit of a pedal off the line there, Mark, but a lot tidier.
Yeah, it was indeed. Picked those front wheels up as well, straight off the line. He just got out of that a little bit and then back into it again, just hooked up and went.
Wow. Well, we're back into the bite.
I'll tell you what, Stu, what do you reckon? We might take a little bit of a break and we'll be back very, very shortly here. Aeroflow, Race for Real.
Speed Addict Clothing Co. Fast
Not slow.
Not difficult.
All right, the Hayabusa.
Boxes. Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
Aeroflow Performance provides a wide range of high-quality performance products for races, street machines, and models.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Hayabusa came off the line, but once again, Mark, big move to the right-hand side. Still went through with the 10.05 at 141. So guys, if you're thinking about coming out next week here to Sydney Dragway and you ride a bike or know someone that does ride a bike, Sydney Random Rides bringing a whole flotilla of bikes out here next week, not just for racing but also for spectating as well. And if you want to learn a little bit more about Sydney Random Rides, just go down and have a chat to them. They're a great bunch of people. There's heaps of them in the group. And they organise group rides, everything from learners to seasoned veterans. So, hey, if you're into it.
That's a good thing about drag racing. Everyone's approachable.
That's
More
right.
than happy to talk about their bike, their car, what they've done, how they've got there. They share all the information. If you're looking for something that you're building and you need a bit of info, this is the place to get it.
Well, Brett Copping is back out on the Widowmaker. Now, I actually spoke to his brother not long ago at my work.
Yep.
And he was telling me about the other bike. Now, Brett doesn't actually own this GT50, 750. Another gentleman owns it, and Brett rides it.
Yep.
But apparently, with the new bike that's in the build, the race bike, all I got told was just wait for that to come out. Brett will be riding it, but just wait for that thing to come out. And I said, I can't wait.
I actually, I've got a mate who collects these GTs.
Yep.
And he's got 2 drag bikes he bought from the States. And I was telling him about this one, and he actually knows the guy who owns it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, within the circles of it. You know, yeah.
Well, 10.
It is, yeah.
59 with a 9 at 126 there for Brett Copping on the GT 750. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, and that bike is street registered, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I've been harassing my mate to bring his, because these ones have got stretch frames. They're proper lay-down drag bikes to get them out here, but yeah, he's a bit hesitant. He's had them for a long time. He said he just didn't know what effort went into build them.
Well, I've got a sneaky suspicion that this new race bike that's in the build is going to have nitrous on board as well. So, Michael Richards down there in the rocket lane on board his Jexa 750. Both riders having a good look at the tree. Michael running on through with a 10.19 with a 4 at 133. Of course, Michael made a step up from street bikes into modified bike, and has just recently put the extended swing arm on the back of his bike. And
Definitely a good move.
It is, and I think, the good thing about Michael is he's quite a laid-back guy, but he's a thinker. And as he said to me, once you get used to it, it is about consistency in those classes that he's riding in. But he said it's just a whole different animal.
Oh, jeez. Bike down in the Aeroflow, just headed for the sky. Well, 11.2, 117 miles an hour to a 13.1, 104 miles an hour. I think, like on the GSX 750, a longer swing arm's got to aid it for, like what we just seen then. Trying to leave the line hard and the thing just pops the front wheel high in the air. You're not wrestling with it like that. But yeah, it'd be a different bike to ride.
Oh, absolutely. And I guess also the good thing about that particular bike, and one thing you touch on, with the 750, it just goes to show you can have a quick bike. You don't need to get a 1000cc bike.
No, not at all.
You've got something that's a little bit less in capacity, but you're still running super quick times. And once again, it is about consistency. You need to run that number again and again and again.
Yep. Yeah, especially, like you've got the GSX, you've got the R6s, and they're really quick bikes.
They are. And they're scarily quick for what they are.
Yes. Yep.
PC Gameplay Vids asks, where's Rossi at? Well, I would say he's probably getting prepared for the Bathurst 12 hour and running the BMW GT3. DJ Prowse said, Stewie, can you say hello to the kids, please? They look forward to watching the drags. G'day, guys. Hope you're enjoying the drags. I know Mark and I are. I know everybody here at the drag strip that's up in the crowd is having a fantastic night as well. Now, also, guys, one thing you might want to put in your diaries too, if you love burnouts, Good Friday burnouts are coming up here at Sydney Dragway as well. And that is going to be a huge, huge day. And I'm actually trying to get the day off from work to be back out here for that. That's on the 29th of March. So make sure you put that in your diaries, guys. The 29th of March, Good Friday burnouts here at Sydney Dragway. There'll no doubt probably be one ticket up for grabs.
Yep. For
Summer Nats as part of the burnouts. And I know that there's going to be some tough cars out here for that. Now, of course, coming up too, in a couple of weeks, on Thursday night, we've got Tyre Thrashing Thursday, which is brought to you by Aeroflow Performance. It's another one of our dedicated burnout nights that we have here at Sydney Dragway. It is a great night to bring the family out. And if you've got a mullet, definitely bring it out. Make sure it's ready to go. I've already seen one very impressive mullet this afternoon. Hats off to you, brother. All right, the Stang up against the Falcon.
I think the Falcon's going to chase him down top end.
12.98 at 121. Actually, the Mustangs have been a bit quiet lately. Yes, we had that one a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
But in general, we haven't seen a lot of them.
No, we haven't. No.
All right, the Mazda Familia up against the Ford Focus. The little rotary, 1.78 in the 60, manually shifted. Because let's face it, real drivers use 3 pedals. And runs on through with a 1284 at 106. Go the Mazda.
And 13.4, 91 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. I love the way that thing leaves the line. Small car, short wheelbase. It just jumps around all over the place, picks up that left-hand wheel.
Well, Yvonne Rafalo said, say g'day to Charlie. G'day, Charlie. Happy birthday, buddy.
Well, BMW up against the Hyundai.
All right, the i30N. The BMW, well, 2.23 reaction time there for the Beamer, but can he chase the Hyundai down?
Well, he's having a good old shot at it.
He's trying. Oh, but no, the i30N gets there with a 13.95.
Yeah, you definitely can't sit on the line for that long, can you?
Not by today's standards,
no.
Anyway. All right, the Honda Integra. is down on track now in the Aeroflow lane. Of course, we had the Queen out here towards the end of last year.
Yep.
And doing some testing in her car.
Yeah, that's the. Hadn't seen that car for a while, have we? Probably 12 months. Did break it.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, they've got a new setup in it, so hopefully they'll do a lot more testing in that car because the potential is there. We're seeing that.
Oh yeah, and I think there's more to come with that car too. But
Yes.
bearing in mind too, she does use that car for more than drag racing. You know, it's used for power cruise
Yep.
and a few other cruising events, and she does drive it on the street as well. So now Spike is asking, are there any Holden Geminis out today? Unfortunately, not, Spike.
We don't. They're actually becoming really rare, Geminis. Don't see a real lot of them.
No, we've seen a couple on the Burnout pad, but not drag racing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because you know the Gemmies were cool.
They were a cool car. Yeah. It's
Oh, that Toyota is black tracking all the way down.
Yes. You just don't do it, do you, Stu?
No, after what we saw a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, if it starts to spin, guys, get off it.
Yeah, just ease out of it. Wait till you start feeling a bit more traction, and then ease it back into it again.
Yeah.
The track is unforgiving. It'll bite. It'll put you into the closest thing, which usually is a wall.
Yeah, we saw that with unfortunately with the Mustang a couple of weeks ago. All right, PSI XD out now in the Aeroflow lane. Nice little bit of chassis twist there off the line. 1.85 in the 60. And the Falcon with a 1.84.
Got out of that real early, didn't he?
He did. All right, Yakuza Motorsports and Overkill Automotive have brought out the Cressida. Of course, we've had a number of very quick Cressidas out here at Sydney Dragway. Of course, Black Track Motorsport, probably got the most well-known one.
Yep.
But Yakuza Motorsports, they've been around a long, long time here in Sydney. And those guys know their imports. He's taking on Dean Hay and Infamous.
Well, didn't get too bad off the line, seeing as a manual.
Yeah.
So you got that out of there.
Well, 12.99.
And 16,989 miles an hour, or 80 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane.
Very
yes,
rare.
very rare, yeah.
Oh, we got the Mercedes down here with the Myrtle look, completely all blacked out.
Yeah, it's gone real mafia, isn't it?
I was wondering if that's like Alicia Teal's other car.
Yeah. the backup for the Kiwi.
Yeah, exactly. He's up against the Subaru. Yeah, actually, to be honest, I couldn't see Alicia driving a German car.
Nah.
Well, 10.78 out of the Merc. Wow, that's quick.
And 13.7, 102 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. Yeah, those Mercs, they just do it so easily.
All right, the Falcon up against the Sylvia. like to welcome Edwin, who's tuning in from Florida in the USA. He's a fellow Subi enthusiast.
Oh, excellent. We've got a couple of Subi coming up.
Great to hear you from Florida, Edwin. Of course, you know, I watch a fair bit of YouTube, and two of the guys that I watch fairly regularly on YouTube, they're actually from Florida. They are snake enthusiasts, and one of them is a tattooist, and I love their YouTube channels. I watch them passionately. That's one place I'd like to visit, actually, Florida in the US. I reckon it'd be unreal over there.
Yeah, haven't been to the States, but definitely on the list to go over.
Well, the Subaru up against the Commodore, pretty much neck and neck. I think the Commodore's now just starting to stretch its legs just a little bit, and running on through with a 1288 to a 1489. Or adds 60s are here and 67 Holden. They're two of our regulars here on a Wednesday night. Aeroflow Race for Real. Great to see the Ute boys out having a little bit of fun.
Two different versions of Commodore.
Edwin said to say, Mark, he said, thank you, gents. Own a 1997 Tommy Kyra M20B and a 2018 STI Type RA.
Well, okay.
Well,
good collection.
I reckon.
Yeah.
To be honest, Edwin, I've actually never heard of a M20B or Tommy Kyra in general.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a wagon. That's even better, Mark.
Yeah.
I didn't know. It's actually a wagon, but it's highly a modified special edition car. Hell yes.
Well, 11.3, 126 for the Subaru and 12.1, 129 miles an hour for the Honda. Whoa.
Well, he does come from Florida, and a lot of people in Florida do say gentlemen. So I've noticed that by watching a lot of my YouTube. We've got this Ute back out here. I love this Ute. You know, it's got that real, like...
It's got character.
Old school look about it, but I'll tell you what, it's got some big rubber underneath the rear end of it, and he doesn't muck around in it either. Big tear of the tyres off the start line. I actually thought the Ford Territory might blast off ahead of him, but no, the Ute, he knows how to drive, this gentleman, and runs it on through with a 12.53 to 114.
Well, Monaro just so easily just ignites those tyres. And the XD S-Pack panel van right beside
That's so cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love it.
Two great looking cars.
Actually, could you imagine that with that injection hat that we saw on the front of that orange Ute, of Owen's Ute the other week? How cool would that look?
That was sensational.
That would look unreal. 1.88 in the 60 there for the van. Here comes the Munro. And the General is on fire. Oh, this car is just amazing me. Every pass it comes out, it was off it before the finishing line. But
yeah, look at the miles an hour out of the Monaro.
Wow.
Back that thing down way early, and it's still run 11.5. But the big panel van has got the aerodynamics of a brick, 12.5.
all right, looks like this Commodore is back out again. If this is the car I'm thinking of, this is actually Sammy Joe's partner.
Have a look at this, Stu.
Yeah.
Down in lane 5.
Oh, yeah.
The HZ
The Area 51 Custom Performance doing a lot of the work if this is a car that I'm thinking of, but he's taking on the 355 powered Tirana. Look at the Tirana go, Mark. 1.69 to 60 in 11.76.
That's quick.
Whoa. Whoa. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Nitrous on board. This thing sounds killer. He's taking on the R35 GTR.
Okay, they just gave the guy in the GTR just to roll your sleeves down. So any of the competitors out there, make sure before you come under the tunnel, everything's done.
Yep.
Belts are done up, you know, sleeves are down, helmets done up, all the gear. That way you don't hold up racing at all.
Ideally do it before you start the car to roll forward out of the staging lanes. Now I was going to ask Mark, this thing down here, it's not a Mustang, is it? In the Aeroflow lane? Sorry? Celica.
Well, they used to reckon they're Mustang shape because they were.
Yeah. They got similar tail lights, but
Yep.
that is seriously cool.
And it's quick.
And there's a bit of smoke coming out of the Celica as well, down in the deep end. Don't think it's anything bad though.
Yep.
Well, we got this VP down here in the Aeroflow lane about to take on the VF Craft.
Well, HSV up against HSV.
Oh yeah. Thanks Jet Black, LL Celica. $11.58 from the VF. All right, if you're watching via the live stream, guys, keep your eyes on this green Commodore. It is out here just about every week, and it is crazy.
It's tough.
It is tough.
Really is. Launches out hard. But also, have a look down in the Burnout.
Man. Oh.
This HXHZ Ute, absolute mint.
I think I'm in love.
Great thing, isn't it?
Benj, did you bring the tissues up here into the studio? I think I'm drooling. This thing is absolutely gorgeous.
Well, VS out and gone, a 1.5 60 foot, nice and strong top end, 10.5 128 miles an hour, and the Merc 12.8 111 miles an hour. What a
That
pass.
is hauling.
Absolutely. Got off the line, nice and crisp. No turn of tyres, no nothing. Just nose high in the air, powered on all the way down the track.
That is absolutely crazy times. Of course, if that car does not have a roll cage in it, it can go as quick as, I think it's 10.5 seconds for those, maybe a little bit lower. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll tell you what, anything around that 10.5 second pass is quick. Especially in a street car.
Well, we've got this real cranky Mustang down in the Aeroflow lane.
Oh, put your hands together, Sydney Dragway. Both cars sounding fat in the Burnout. I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of money spent on that ute.
Yes.
And, you know, that's almost like Dukes of Hazzard coloured orange, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Maybe that's like the Australian version of the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh,
Oh, go to the ute. 1.65 in the 60. The Mustang with the attitude out of the hole. An 11.28 for the ute to an 11.89 for the Stang.
wow. That ute just outgone, left the Mustang wanting on the line.
That's awesome. Now, I wasn't sure how tonight was going to play up. Obviously, we've had a bit of weather around Sydney. But tell you what, some of the cars that are out here tonight are
Great.
just
Yeah.
and bikes for that matter too, are just unbelievable. We got Act Up down here in the Aeroflow lane. Now, I can't say I've seen this VH Commodore before.
Sound nice and tough in the Burnout. Up against the BMW over in the Rocket Lane. BMW a little bit off, not sitting straight in the launch, but got away nice and clean.
Geez, Act Up 1.70, a big shine of the shift light through the rear window, and goes in 11.27 with 9.
Wow. And 13.4, 102 miles now for the Rocket Lane.
Now, I reckon these are both mates that are having a race against each other. Now, it's interesting when I read all the comments on Facebook, you know, from people that drive Hiluxes.
Yep.
And they're like, you know what, I wouldn't buy a Ranger. It spends more time in the workshop than what my Hilux would. Oh, yeah, well, that's true. You can't be worse than the Jeep. I totally agree. But okay. If you're a Ranger driver, let us know, guys. If you're in the crowd and you drive a Ford Ranger, or you know someone that does, are they really that unreliable? Or is that just all talk?
I don't know. If you read some of the reviews about them, they're not crash hot. But, yeah, I don't know. Here they have a lot of ignition problems and stuff like that. Made them very unreliable. No such thing.
Oh, good strong burnout there from the Ute in the Aeroflow lane. He's taking on this nitrous-assisted VX Commodore. That Mustang coming up the return road, that thing sounds fat.
Yeah.
Love it. Looks like he's taking the air cleaner off it too.
Yeah. Get a bit more air in there.
Well, the VX Commodore has left. I don't know what's going on with the Ute. But there we go.
Well, I think he's just building.
Building the boost, eh?
Building up a bit of boost, yep. It's on a good pass. 10.6, 129.
Wow. That's nuts.
And 10.8, 125 for the Rocket Lane for the Nitrous VX.
DJ Prowse said, I used to work with tow trucks. They do spend a lot of times on the back of trucks.
Yep.
Thanks, DJ Prowse. Well, we're back into the bikes. All right, well, we've got this Hayabusa back out. Now, this Hayabusa likes to make a bit of a turn to the right. I think if this rider could tame it, just to keep it within the centre of the lane, it's going to be on a super quick pass.
Yeah, he definitely does have to fight it a bit mid-track, doesn't he?
Yep. He's got that real pro bike stance about it, so he's obviously been racing for a fair while. Gets the weight as much as he can over the front wheel. That's a little bit better on the launch. 1.77 in the 60 there. Well, 961, 152 to a 984 with a 9 at 143. Sydney Dragway, put your hands together for the bike community tonight. They are turning it on here at Aeroflow Race for Real. If you're watching via YouTube or you're watching via Facebook, let us know in the comments what you think about motorcycle drag racing here in Sydney at this street level.
These guys have definitely turned it up a notch, haven't they?
All right, the big Harley out now in the Aeroflow lane.
He doesn't do too bad down there in the Burnout, does he? Throws it around. big heavy bike.
Well, the tips on those bikes look like they belong in a V8 muscle car.
Yeah,
the sound of them, they are huge. Well, both of them had a good hard look at the tree then. But
Tell you what, they're two good reactions if they didn't have a minus in front of them.
I reckon. They weren't far off. That 12.08 to a 12.13 there for the big Harley. Got another big Harley bagger coming back out. Well, guys, coming over the return rate, put your hands together, side by side, 9-second passes from both those riders, the Hayabusa, as he comes over the burnout pad. Great run, guys, well done. That is huge.
Well, 10.5, 141 miles an hour for the Aeroflow to a 10.9, 137 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. Another two good passes there.
Well, the Harley making its way up towards start line might be a first timer. He has staged just outside of the groove, so you want to be a little bit careful.
Maybe turn his radio down a little bit.
Maybe.
Probably a bit of Triple M playing away.
Might have, yeah, I was going to say might have a bit of Metallica or AC/DC running through the headphones. But, or he could be like Ben on his way here to the track and listen to full-blown thrash death metal.
Very close to the centre line.
Yeah. It's all on shuffle, is it? Have you got any Taylor Swift on your playlist? Okay, just... okay. I just wanted to double check, that's all.
Bit of Daryl Braithwaite.
Yeah. Oh, listen to that, Harley crank it up with the big ape hangers. Now, this gentleman brought this bike out the other week on a trailer, and I can tell you, Mark and I were very impressed with just how mint this bike looked. Oh, pops up the front wheel, Mark.
Yeah, definitely tried to launch that one out quick and hard.
Well, 11.37. I'll tell you what, when it picks up the front wheel and you've got ape hangers, that'd be interesting. Well, don't forget, guys, if you're out in the staging lanes and you've got somebody that's helping you out with your car or bike, with a workshop, guys, make sure you jump on the live stream and let Mark and I know who's helping you out. We're more than happy to give them a shout out.
Yep, because you don't know. There could be someone else, sitting around near you or out in the pits that's building a car and needs something sorted out, and you've just had that done, and you throw out a number there, you can help out the person that's done the work for you to the people that need the work.
That's exactly right.
And that's what's all about in drag racing, like just sharing information.
And a lot of the workshops, they're very approachable and they know their stuff.
Yes.
And, just as an example, SCF race cars here in Sydney. You've got a race car in the build or a street car, you need a roll cage or anything built.
Yep.
Mate, go and see them because they do so much for the drag racing community, SCF race cars. Great, that's credit to Burnsy and his crew. Now we've got another nice looking Harley down here. I think it's a Harley anyway, down here in Rocket Lane. Certainly sounded like it. And it's a beautiful looking bike.
Actually, I didn't see the GT750 go through.
No, I don't know whether Brett's tinkering with it. All right, we've got Keg down here, the little Honda Civic. It sounds pretty tough, and he's taking on another Honda Civic.
It does look a bit like a keg, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, Spike, who's watching the live stream, he's from here in Sydney. Why aren't you out here, Spike?
Yep, absolutely.
Mate, you're better off to be out here at the drag strip with the smell of rubber and fumes up your nose. Then you get fired up as me. Admittedly, I can't smell it from up here in the studio, but when I'm outside, it clears the lungs out. Actually, I was really hoping tonight, Mark, that the guys from B2R Motorsports would bring their Civic out.
Oh, yeah.
For a hit.
Yep.
Obviously, the cooler conditions out here at the moment.
Well, they're still testing with that car too, aren't they?
They are,
yep.
yeah.
Oh, how good does that sound?
Oh, that beautiful sound of an RB motor in the R33. He's taking on the BMW SUV. I'd like to see this BMW SUV take on the Mercedes SUV. Fair enough, Spike.
Well, Skyliner was hard on the trans brake, pull those revs way up, and the moment he released, that was it, just ignited. Okay, I don't think our guy in the BMW down here is too popular. He's just didn't even watch what the starter was doing. Just went round everybody, just lined straight up. Two other competitors. Just we've got people down there who are directing you. Watch what they do. Don't take it upon yourself to just make your own mind up.
Yeah.
They do it for safety reasons.
That's right. Yeah, wicked four-leader doing the right thing and hanging back. And gets the better reaction time too. But the BMW is coming around him at half track and gets the win with 13.27, 14.56. If you're here at track, guys, and you're hungry, don't forget gas-fired pizzas are up the top. They've got the pizza van there. And I can vouch that those pizzas are pretty damn good. And if you want dessert, guys, we've got the ice cream van up there, or you can go see Denise for the best donuts in Western Sydney and coffee.
Yep.
Go up there.
And if you're wandering down in the pits, you have the Pit Cafe down there. So they have all different types of foods, hot coffee, drinks, whatever you like down there as well. So no matter where you are in the venue, there's always something there for you.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, Stu, we might go up to the big screen. We'll take a little bit of a break. We'll be back with you very, very shortly here. Aeroflow, race for real.
Aeroflow Performance provides a wide range of high-quality performance products for races, street machines and hot rodders. From fittings, fuel system components, intake solutions and even turbocharger systems, you can see it all at aeroflowperformance.com.
BikeReview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. BikeReview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Ware, our involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports. BikeReview.com.au.
All right, guys, we are back. We did say it was a short break. We've got the VW up against the Honda. VW well and truly out in front.
All right, PSI XD is out here. Tell you what, sounding pretty nice too out of the hole. PSI XD, a 1.81 in the 60, 11.05. Oh, so close to that 10-second pass. I reckon they can taste it.
Yeah.
And I reckon if they run a 10 in that car, there's going to be a big party down in the pits. All right, we got Brian or Sammy Joe behind the wheel of the Commodore, if that is them. Of course, Area 51 Custom Performance over at Kemps Creek. Those guys help out with the car. Surprised Eden's not here tonight. But hopefully we'll see Eden and Raymond back next week. We're at a little Honda CRX. Or Civic, sorry, down there, doing a great job. 12.14 out of that car. Great pass from him, 129 miles an hour too.
Yeah, good miles an hour for a 12.1. That's that's way down low 11s.
I was going to say, it just got to about 330 foot mark, and then all of a sudden it just went kapow, and then like old school Batman style.
Yeah.
It's just gone. 06 Slim down here in the Aeroflow lane, about to take on the Falcon. Well, the little Golf is out with a 2.73 in the 60, 2.45 there for the Falcon. The Falcon, though, moving towards the wall, which is never a good thing.
I reckon this might be a good pass between this Supra and the Cressida.
I'm thinking the same thing, actually. The Overkill Auto Sport and, of course, Yakuza Motorsports. Oh, I'll tell you what, both of them out like a rocket ship, although a bit of wheel spin there from the Cressida. And a 12.29 to a 12.49, but massive amount of wheel spin off the line from that car.
Miles an hour, absolutely nothing between the two. Cressida was just, as you do with a manual, a little bit harder to get it off the line, so just lost a bit there.
All right, the Nissan Silvia is back out in the rocket lane. And he's taking on the Murder Mercedes.
I reckon one of those Cressidas with a 2J in it would be a great cruise car.
Well, I know, if my memory serves me correctly, the one that Black Track Motorsport used to race had a 1J in it.
Yep.
And that thing was very quick for what it was.
Yep.
I actually don't even know. I presume that car is still around. It used to run at Jamboree a fair bit, actually. Yeah, I think it was been running nines. All right, the Falcon up against the Rexy. One of the more cleaner examples of this model of WRX. We did notice earlier that there is a person who's tuned in via YouTube or Facebook, Mark, from South Africa.
Oh, great.
So welcome. Welcome to Wednesday night Aeroflow Race for Real from here at Sydney Dragway.
I was reading and did see a bit on YouTube about one of the quickest or quick Cressidas over in South Africa. The guy actually had a bit of a lose in it and destroyed the car.
Oh, what a shame.
And it was a 2J car as well. Very, very quick. Bit of a shame.
Well, of course, in the world of sport compact drag racing around the world, you know, if you've got a 2J, you're in the game.
Oh, you are, indeed.
And, you know, it's funny that you look at that motor and how successful it is around the world.
Yep.
And yet, you come here to Australia and you look at, as I said earlier, you look at the RBs and just how they're not that far off what 2Js are, really.
No. When you look around the six-cylinder scene, you know, like you've got that motor, you got the Barra, you know, like you got the 2J, the 1J, you know, it's yeah, that six-cylinder scene, those motors are quick with a minimal amount of work on them.
Yes, yeah.
You know, I think between the two, the 1J and the 2J, like the 2J just has got that little bit more capacity in them, and they just breathe a lot better for, you know, better head set up on them. And but whichever one you got, it's going to go.
Oh, absolutely. And we're very lucky at the moment too here at Sydney Dragway, because just at the end of the track, if you go over the other side of the hill, you got Wetherill Park.
Yes.
And at Wetherill Park is a workshop called Gas Motorsport.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got some of the quickest 2Js
They have.
in the country, not just at pro street level, but also at full-blown race style as well. Although they are focused a fair bit at the moment on the Mustang, which runs in Pro Mod.
Yep.
Driven by Zoran Gargic. And Zoran, you know, I've seen a lot of drivers over the years while I've been here commentating, and I can tell you that Zoran is probably one of the best Dord car drivers in the country at the moment.
He can definitely drive.
He can
steer, yep.
Although, having said that, every time I see Zoran, he probably hates it, but I go up to him and go, so when are you going to bring the BMW, the gas BMW back out? And he goes, oh, one day. I go, come on, man, bring it out. I love that car. Love it. 2J powered BMW, full tube frame drag car. Now, the other week, actually, they had an event over the road, and Queen Street actually had their new R35 GTR drag car on display.
Whee, oh, geez. Wow, that car was moving around. It has got a lot there, Benj. It, yeah, he just started putting the boot into it, and it started straight towards the centre line.
Probably thinks he's driving a Pro Street Evo.
I think that might have been it, Stu.
No, but I mean, the R35 GTR that Queen Street have got,
yep.
It's recently just had a Matux motor built for
right,
it. And
okay.
the motor was in the car.
Yep.
So hopefully in the not too distant future, we will see that car out here.
Yep.
And see it doing some testing and those guys getting on top of it. But I'll tell you what, if it's got an RB30 in it, like what they're running in the Dawn,
yep,
that's a 5-second car. Edwin A., my brother-in-law has an FC RX-7 with a 1.5 litre 1.5 JZ pushing close to 700 horsepower. Looks horrible too, quite a sleeper. Laugh out loud. Hey Edwin, to be fair mate, it's a Mazda, so you know, it's always going to look good. All right, 67 Chaser. Down on track now. A little bit of help from Naughty Boys Clothing Company. Who's taking on the big Pontiac. No, you're quite safe, DJ Prowse. My phone is actually sitting in front of me on the desk, so no, I won't be pocket calling you. And I was at work, by the way, when I pocket called you too, so... no, not tonight. The rocket phone's in front of me. Now, I've got this old school BMW down here. I'm going to go on a limb and say 318i. It's taking on the R35 GTR. Of course, every time I see one of those, Mark, the first thing that comes to mind is Paul Morris and the Diet Coke BMWs from back in the old SIP touring days.
Yes. They were really nice prepped car, weren't they?
They were.
They looked well. And they went good.
Well, Frank Gardner, from memory, had a fair bit to do with that as well.
Yep.
And Tony Longhurst. Oh, 355 Tyree just whips it off the start line. Mick in the ute doing the chasing, but the Tyree at 11.59, 119, he'd be very happy with that pass.
Yeah, an 11.2, 121 for the ute. So, yeah, I think that ute has got a little snail hiding up under the bonnet of that thing.
Well, this Monaro down here, Mark, it looks like it's got some work done to it by Shift Right. Of course, those guys have got that 1-tonner that comes out with the big fat rubber on the rear end of it.
Yep.
And he's taking on Dean Hay in Infamous. Corey Hunter from Gem Racing says, not long until I get to race here again. Let's hope I don't get the typical Sydney Jamboree curse. Yep, I totally agree with you, Corey. Hopefully not.
Oh, jeez. Done the right thing. Got out of it at the right time, I think. It's just by those tyre marks you can see there.
Yeah, totally agree with Brett Gray. That ute went hard. Live stream on air said, hello guys, the Cressida you are talking about is a full-bodied steel with 2J and is owned by Nady Boyson. Was an absolute beast of a car. They are in the process of building a new car. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great to hear.
Yep. Well, let's Celica down here, Stu. V8 with nitrous.
Nice.
How good's that?
Nice.
And look how clean the body is.
It is a beautiful looking car, it really is. But I'll tell you what, the VP is keeping him honest.
No, I don't think the gas is going to help him.
No.
Well, 12.5, 109 for the Club Sport and 12.1, 114 for the Rocket Lane.
Well, live stream on air, please keep us up to date with what's happening with this new car if you can, because that is seriously cool. You know, Black Track been around the Jamboree scene for a long, long time, and we love seeing those guys here racing. All right, well, the Commodore out with a 1.92 in the 60. The Ford Territory nice and straight down the Aeroflow lane and runs on through with a 14.77. That's a pretty good pass out of the Territory.
Stu, Ross wandering around downstairs?
Yeah, Ross, one of probably our number one spectator. He's here at just about every event.
If he's not spectating, he's bringing out the VT.
Yeah.
Giving in a run. He's got a 5-litre wagon.
Of course, another gentleman that's here just about every week, although I haven't seen him as yet on the camera, is Little.
Well, VF Commodore well and truly out in front. 11.4, 119 miles an hour to a 12.8, 111 miles an hour.
All right, we've got this Dukes of Hazzard orange. Almost Dukes of Hazzard orange ute down here. Jesus, this thing is beautiful.
Mate, I had one exactly the same as that. Same guard, same bonnet, or same front, but in red.
Wow. That is absolutely beautiful, that car. Aaron Bessel said, "Missed the place so much. Our track here in Tassie is pretty much non-existent. At least I can watch." That's a shame, Aaron.
Yeah,
to
that
hear
is a shame, isn't it?
I mean, Tasmania's got a very good car culture down there,
Yep.
you know, with Simmons Plains and Baskerville. But hopefully in the future that can be rectified. They can get that there. Live stream on air, Mark, said the quickest car in South Australia is a BMW M5 from Butler Motorsport and does 6.5 seconds on the quarter mile at 267 Ks. Oh, South Africa, sorry.
Yep.
Has competed at the Haltech World Cup import versus domestic in 2018.
Wow.
That's quick. BMW M5, Butler Motorsport, 6.5 seconds on the quarter mile.
That is quick.
That is very quick. Spike said, "I'll take my Gemini TE one day for Race for Real." Yes, Spike, bring it out. Absolutely. Well, a little bit of haze coming out of that car in the rocket lanes, cleared itself up. And 11.1.
11.2, 121 for the Aeroflow lane.
Great to see a lot of people downstairs in the spectator viewing area. Of course, if you want to get down there, guys, you just got to buy a ticket.
Yep.
And then you got to buy an extra ticket to get down there. But it's a great place to stand and get close to the action. Now, speaking about getting close to the action, I wonder if they heard us, Mark, because it looks like the B2R Motorsport Civic is back and their guys are out here to do some more testing.
It's great to see them out here.
Well, look, if cars are getting down quickly and the bikes are getting down quick, then conditions out there can't be too bad.
Conditions seemed really good. Joe put in some of his quick times again, so and the track's holding him up. So, yeah, no dramas at all. And our guys have prepped the track and just A1 at what they do.
Well, our track crew here at Sydney Dragway, you know, they are renowned for delivering an exceptional track. I mean, you ask any racer here in Australia, and they'll tell you that the track crew here at Sydney Dragway, they are one of the best, if not the best, when it comes to track prep in this country. Oh, Joe out with a 1.31 mark.
Wow. 154. Great pass.
Sydney Dragway, put your hands together. Smoking Joe Sabello is back.
Mate, he's on fire tonight. I think he might have had an extra cup of coffee before he went out. He's really sharp on the lights.
That is awesome. Great to see Joe back into the 8s.
Yep. Well, big burnout from the Centura. Hopefully got a good bit of heat in those tyres. And can get this car hooked up off the line.
Well, that extra little bit of heat in these cool conditions.
Yeah, just hooked up on the back tyres at the moment. You can't stage up on that. And get him back a little bit further.
Was a 3.8 asking any of the big boys out there? Well,
yeah, that's pretty close.
Well, Wazza, we've just had Joe Sabello go down with an 888. We've got the B2R Motorsport Civic, which will be coming up very, very soon. Of course, tonight is all about off-street drag racing, but we do let street-registered cars in. And look at that, 9.21, 145 out of the Centura.
And look what he got out of the 60-foot, 1.30.
That's crazy.
That is really hooking up.
So there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Sydney Dragway track tonight.
Well, now just moving back into the bikes again.
Now, speaking about bikes, I know I've said it a couple of times, but guys, if you love motorcycles, make sure you tune in next week, or if you're from Sydney, get your butts out here to Sydney Dragway for Aeroflow Race for Real, because Sydney Random Rides, they are bringing the gang out next week, and I can't wait to see some familiar faces that I met at a little Christmas do, which was organised by one of their members, Eloise. And thank you, Eloise. It was great to meet Mario and a lot of the other members of Sydney Random Rides that I don't come out here to the track all the time. All right, the Hayabusa has swapped lanes. He's in the Aeroflow lane. Both those bikes went 9 seconds on their last pass. The Hayabusa, well, Marky staged at the right-hand side of the right tyre mark, and the bike instantly went right. But a 9:47, 152 miles per hour.
Yeah, and you could hear that he searching for a gear there mid-track. I think that's just what sort of put his time way off. After that, he's just backed it down and just rolled on from there.
G'day, Unsocial Media. Welcome to the live stream. All right, Michael Richards out now in the Aeroflow lane on board the AMS water meters sponsored Suzuki GSX-R 750. Runs in a modified bike at our New South Wales State Championship Series rounds. Well, 1.68 and 60 there for Michael. Nice and straight down the Aeroflow lane, and a 10.28 with a 1.
And 11.5, 122 for the Rocket Lane. How good those bikes look go down there. They're changing gears, shooting flames out the exhaust.
Well, Australian Burnout Cars is asking, when is the Burnouts event? Well, I can tell you when it is coming up because I've actually got it in the rocket phone. It is coming up on the 22nd, Australian Burnout Cars. We've got Aeroflow Tyre Thrashing Thursday, which is coming up on the 22nd. And then, of course, on March 29, we've got Good Friday Burnouts, which is coming up as well. All right, the big 120 horsepower Harley bagger. 1.67 in the 60 this time. Looked a little bit more aggressive off the start line on that launch there, Mark.
Yeah, he did indeed. 1.660 foot. Bike in the rocket lane, just sitting on the limiter and the burnout.
Now, also Australian Burnout Cars, one other date you want to put in, as well as everybody else who's here at the track and watching via the live stream, is the 9th of June. That is Brushinats 2024, when the baddest of the bad Burnout Cars on the East Coast make their way here to Sydney Dragway, and we send some smoke signals up into space. It is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, burnout event that we have here at Sydney Dragway. I know that Mick and Linda put a lot of effort into the event, and they got great support from all the burnout competitors. Yeah, as Ben just said, you wouldn't have heard it, but it is the best burnout event outside of Summer Nats. Of course, that event was made famous by a certain person who shall remain nameless. But we had some great standout burnouts that day as well. So we'll have to get Mark Thomas out here, and we'll have to bring him out for Brashenats.
Yeah.
We'll have to bring you out, Mark.
Yep.
Getting you on the mic. DJ Proush, Brashenats, best comp in Australia. We will be all going, I hope so, because it's not just about the burnouts, it's a party. And of course, when you've got myself and David Pendlebury as part of the commentary team, you know it's going to be a party. Probably more Pendlebury than me. David Pendlebury, great guy to be on commentary with for burnouts. A guy that I've got a huge amount of respect for, not just as a commentator but as a mate as well. I'll tell you what, there are some tough sounding bikes out here tonight.
Yeah, I can too. Imagine you can hear that Suzuki GT down below us there somewhere.
Yeah.
You just...
Yeah, it's Brett Copping from up Sydney's North Shore, who's the rider of that bike. As I mentioned earlier, they've got a race bike. Well, the owner's got a race bike in the build that'll be running. As far as I know, it's running nitrous. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Stu.
Be awesome to see one of those on nitrous.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Is this the quickest street GT?
I believe it is.
Yep. Sounds sensational with a set of like chambers on this thing.
DJ Prowse, thank you for that comment, but I was hoping that wasn't going to be put up on the wall. But thank you, DJ Prowse. No, I won't be doing that.
We've named that wall, isn't it, Stu's wall?
It was Brett Battersby's fault. He brought out Blown Lux and I got fired up and, yeah.
Got overexcited?
I got more than overexcited. I was running in an all 8 cylinder. I was like
you were just over the fence.
I was like a top fuel motor. All right, Brett copying on the Suzuki GT750, otherwise known as the Widowmaker. This guy, I've got tabs on Brett, and I have done for a lot of years. This guy deserves to be on a pro stock motorcycle. He is just an absolutely brilliant rider. 000 on the tree, 1.67 in the 60.
Sensational.
1047 with a 5. Oh, yeah.
Yep, you gotta just absolutely. That bike is phenomenal.
And Brett is a phenomenal rider.
He is indeed. He's just proven that by just cutting a perfect light for a perfect pass.
Thanks, DJ Prowse. Thank you for letting it out of the bag to our international viewers. Oh, the Skyline winding it up. Mark, he is struggling at about that 80-foot mark.
He is indeed. He just launches this thing out and it just absolutely fries those tyres. Does the right thing, gets out of it early, and then just powers on from there.
Just want to thank all our competitors and to all our spectators as well for coming out tonight and supporting Aeroflow Race for Real. I know the weather around here hasn't been too crash hot, but frankly, I'm stoked at the amount of cars and bikes that we've got here tonight as part of Aeroflow Race for Real. So huge thank you to everybody who has come to the track tonight.
It's actually turned out to be an absolute cracker of a night. The weather is just perfect.
It is, and the cars here tonight are just unbelievable. and bikes as well. You
Yes.
guys are absolute credit to our sport. All right, guys, Brett. Looks like Brett Copping coming up the return road on the GT. Great ride there, Brett. Oh, yeah. Sydney Dragway, do we know how to turn it on? Wednesday night isn't just about doing it safely. I mean, that's the main message we do it for. Do it safely, get it off the street, bring it here to the track, and have a lot of fun. But most of all, it's a party night. So it's a place where you can let your hair down, relax. Everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook, they are having a ball. And everybody here at the track as well that is experiencing the sights and sounds of Aeroflow Race for Real.
Good thing about with Brett there, he would have been going down that track staring straight at those 000s.
That's right. And all the other races would be getting jealous.
Yeah.
Well, I know for a fact that if Dave Muscat was here, he'd be having that frown on his face for the whole night.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Not that we'd rub it in or not, but
No, not at all.
just
No,
a
no.
tad.
No. Well, I did nickname him it. Somebody else nicknamed him a certain nickname. He's a very, very good racer in his own right. He's a great character as well.
Yeah, he is indeed. And yeah.
All right, PSI XD swapping lanes for this pass. Now that car looks like it's got a pretty big set of radials on the rear end of it too, Mark.
Yeah, it has, Stu. It's got a good set of tyres under the back of it. Doesn't put a real lot of heat in them. Does sit on the line for a bit, just building up. It just started to turn tyres on that thing when it started producing more boost.
15:35 there out of the Honda Integra as we got the Honda Civic Del Sol down here about to come out in the rocket lane. He's about to take on the Falcon. PSI XD running through for not really a representative pass, but hey, he would have learned a lot.
Yeah.
From that launch as well.
Yeah, just get a little bit more heat in those tyres.
I was just about to say, Mark, with the radials, and particularly for PSI XD, because he does sit on the line for quite a while to build some boost, is it worth putting more heat into those radials? Or is there come to a point where you get too much heat even though you're sitting on the line for that amount of time?
Yeah, you can always go too hard and put a bit too much heat in them, but yeah, with a set of radials, the amount of time that you're going to lose that out of it is going to be minimal for doing the burnout, moving on a line, and he's only sitting there for a second or two, so yeah.
Australian Burnout Cars are asking, what is your favourite car out here tonight? Well, I can vouch for Mark, because I know which one is his favourite car. It's the green 355 powered Tirana. That is his favourite car that's here tonight. I'll check with Benj.
Bike? Benj? Haven't even got a favourite bike? Yep. Yeah, that'd be, if you know, for bikes, that'd be my favourite one as well. Yeah, the GT. The GT 750. That is just an absolute classic bike.
Well, my favourite.
Stu?
Well, my favourite car out here tonight is that white Supra.
Yes,
the
yeah.
old school Supra.
Yep. And
Sleeper
bike?
Supra. And bike. Look, I can't go past the blue Jexer.
Yep.
That has been running the nines. You know, I think any bike that on a street bike gets up around 140 miles an hour, that's a fair effort. Check out the VP down here, Mark. It's got the gold wheels on it. That thing is super clean. That is beautiful.
Well, that your Super is sitting down the burnout box now.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this thing. Look at that, the old school pop-up headlights on
Yes,
it. That is seriously cool. And the VP running on through 15.26, 92 miles an hour as a Golf R comes out. The first Golf R of the night. I really hope we can see the Galano Engineering Golf back out again one day.
Yes, that would, yeah.
The quickest Mark 7 in the world from right here in Sydney. Ha! Actually, now that I said that, all those people that are watching from overseas are going to go, you arsies think you're the best at everything. Yeah.
We don't think.
We don't think we know.
But it's good to hear from those guys too of what some of the cars that are standouts for them as well. It's good to share the information. And
well, of course, we've got a number of 10-second based Golf Rs here in Sydney. I'll see a lot of them out here. But when they come out, they make a statement. There's usually about 3 of them that come out.
Yep.
Well, 12.43 there from the Golf R. All right, the R33 up against the 86. I love the look of this 86. This thing looks seriously cool with the wing, the wider wheels on it. Just make sure, guys, as Mark said earlier, when you come through the tunnel, you'll see Chris standing where the hose is. Just make sure you keep an eye on Chris because he will tell you when you're able to start your burnout and proceed.
yeah, these guys will direct you forward, when to come up, and they do it all. When they wave you on, they know that all the other cars have moved up and are out of the way.
Well, the 86, I was wondering why it was in front. He got a red light, but still, it's not going to affect his time in a 15.54 to a 15.72 there. As we've got another Mustang with a Coyote now. Big news in the supercars. Of course, Ford, they're doing the testing at the moment.
Yep.
For the supercars. And, obviously they've got their revised aerodynamic package on them. But apparently the Ford teams, Mark, particularly DJR and Blanchard Racing Team, they've been testing the new spec Coyote motor for the Mustangs.
Okay.
At Queensland Raceway. So, I read a report today, and look, I don't delve too much into that type of stuff because, press, whatever. But they reckon they have to peg them back a little bit.
Okay.
Which, frankly, that surprises me.
You know what? That's one of the things that I don't have a lot or don't follow a lot now in touring car stuff, because they put a car together that's a really good package, but then they penalise them by weighting them up or taking more aerodynamics off them to slow them down. Which I understand, like you want close racing, but that's the idea of the teams putting in all the exactly, Benj. Make the other teams catch up. Like you'll set the limit high, because you put a lot of development into it. So these other guys should do.
Well, what interests me about the whole thing too, Mark, is that you've got a quad cam V8 with the Coyote, and then you've got the push rod V8 with the Camaro.
Yep.
And it's interesting because we see a lot of these more high powered Mustangs that come out here to the track with the Coyote motors.
Yep.
And they're making some pretty serious power in drag racing at the moment. And I get that there's rules. And there's rules in place, but they should be able to engineer a car to meet those rules. But if you build a better car to those rules, then you're 100% right.
Yep.
Gary and Christy Smith said, I will be out in March with a Galano tune in the Golf R.
Wow,
Awesome.
excellent.
Hell yes, bring it out.
And let us know when you're coming, when it's getting close, if you are out on that date. So
Yeah.
yeah, Ben just spotted something falling off the Crusader.
Yeah, it looks like there's something at about 80 foot.
Yep.
I can see something on the track. Great stuff there from all our races tonight. All right, the Sylvia back out. He's taking on the Murder Mercedes.
Yep.
Wow, 1098, 129 there from the Merc. I must admit, I'm not a fan of matte paint jobs, but that does look cool.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of primer.
No. All right, the Mazda RX-8 out now, up against the Subaru WRX. This, the Mazda RX-8s are getting a little bit hard to find these days as well. Cause
Yes, they
obviously
are.
They've got the Mazda RX-8 Cup here in Australia. And let's face it, parts don't come cheap these days.
No, well, the value of them as well, Stu, has just gone through the roof.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, 13.3, 102 miles an hour to a 15.4.
Well, Gary and Christy Smith just said, Mark, it will be the 28th of February, a green Golf.
Great. Excellent.
Awesome. We can't wait to see you out here, guys.
All right, we've got the Battle of the Utes.
Yeah, 62 Holden up against Ad Sixes. Yeah, both these guys here just about every week here for Aeroflow Race for Real. 1378 there in the Rocket Lane. We've got the Skyline out now in the Aeroflow lane up against the WRX. Because these Skylines were all imports. They didn't really sell them here in Australia, if you're an international viewer, of course. Edwin's asking, is one of those Utes rotary? No, it's not, Edwin. No, one of the white one I'm pretty sure is a 6.
Yeah, both 6.
Both 6.
Both, yeah.
Edwin said they sound like rotors on stream.
Yeah, they sound the same here too. It's just the exhaust.
So you're a Mazda fan at heart then, Edwin. All right, Rasubi, though, has got the win, 1388 with a 6. And the Skyline, unfortunately, no time recorded.
He just left way too early.
Oh, I got another little Honda Civic Type R back out in the Rocket Lane. He's taking on this very quick Lancer.
Yeah, this Lancer was the one that moved around a fair bit earlier.
All right, well, the Civic Type R just easing it off the line. Here comes the Lancer. You can hear it on the track mics. And on the brakes, just before 1,000 foot, and rolls on through with a 1371 at only 84 miles an hour. As we got the Toyota Chaser about to take on the Commodore. Edwin said, rotaries are my heritage. Nissan Subi guy at heart.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, well, 67 Chaser out with a 2.29 in the 60, and the Naughty Boys sponsored Toyota runs a 13.29, 13.80 there in the Aeroflow lane as this really cool, nice looking BMW makes its way out. He's going to be taking on this ute that was getting a little bit too eager in the Burnout. Australian Burnout cars are asking who will win. Well, Mark's going to say the Commodore ute. That's for sure. If it's a 6, I'm going to go more the BMW side. But potentially, the ute could have an upset. I think a lot comes down to the reaction time. Edwin's saying Puerto Rico, Mark.
Yes.
That's his heritage. Us Puerto Ricans love rotaries. Well, that explains it, Edwin. I know you guys do. You guys are the home of sport compact drag racing around the world. And we're lucky enough actually to have one of the cars that is well known in Puerto Rico over here in Australia now. It's an 86 that somebody bought. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but somebody bought a very well-known race car from Puerto Rico and had it transported here to Australia. And hopefully we'll see that out at Jamboree.
Well, that'd be good.
All right, we've got this Falcon down here in the Aeroflow lane. It's taking on the R35 GTR. Ooh, it's an RC car, says, laugh out loud. Heritage says, I like Morris Minor because I'm British. So I've got a question for you, RC car. Do you look like Mr. Bean? Just merely asking, you know. Just asking. Just putting it out there.
Well, 11,912 miles an hour to 11,627 miles an hour.
Because Dave Muscat that comes out, he drives a Mini. Admittedly, it's a BMW Mini. It's not a true Mini. But his nickname is Mr. Bean here at the track on a Wednesday night. All right, Mark. Get ready. The shift right assisted Monaro is out against this very, very tough ute. That's right. Thank you, Ray. Yes, Nader, King 32 bought the 86.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Yep.
Nader. Thank you, Ray. I couldn't think off the top of my head who had bought it, but I knew it was here in Sydney.
Well, ute gets out. Monaro just builds it on a line.
Monaro just moving around a little bit just before 330 foot and goes in 11.03 with at 97 to a 12.13. All right. We got Mick out in the ute. As Mark said, it sounds like it's got a turbo on it, but he's taking on TOS 355, this beautiful looking A9X with the drop tank, roll cage, big radials underneath the rear end of it.
Okay, a bit of a problem for the ute.
1190 out of the Tirana. That's
Yeah.
a great pass. Ooh, it's an RC car, says he's 6'2", huge beard. So like a big version of Benji.
Well, hopefully
Tall
problem
version
with the ute isn't too bad. They will get this thing back to the pits and get it sorted and be back out again tonight. There's been running some really good passes.
It has.
And he's actually out here tonight. Wedding anniversary?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Missy, his partner, is watching, or wife, is watching the live stream. Hopefully it's nothing bad and we can see him bring that car back out.
He's been putting some really good passes in tonight.
He has. Now, just notice, Mark, that this VP Commodore that's down here, they have removed the air cleaner. So they've gone the old school way of drag racing, take the air cleaner off.
Yeah, I think it's just a bit of a podgy bonnet. Have a look at the colour, is way off and everything.
Yep.
I'd say it's just his drag racing bonnet.
Yep.
So he gets plenty of air in there.
That's right, Ray. El Humilde, or Humilde, is the name of the 86. That's exactly right, yeah. Probably one of the most, if not the most, famous sport compact car in the world. And of course, coming from Puerto Rico, as Ray mentioned on the live stream. Cannot wait to see that car out. I've seen Nader do some crazy stuff in King 32.
Yep.
When he gets hold of that thing.
Wow, big burnout from the VP Commodore.
Yeah, I love the old school style of drag racing. Take the air cleaner off, drop the pipes.
Yeah. So that thing would more than likely have an injector plate on it.
Yep.
If it's still remaining with the injection.
Well, 1.93 in the 60 there for the VP. And a 1270, a great consistent car.
Yeah, runs well. And 14.9, 94 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane. Westpac Commodore up against the Merc.
Yep. All right, the Commodore 1.90 in the 60. Runs on through with a 1302 with a 7. A little bit of a problem there in the burnout there for the Mustang.
Yeah, it didn't really light them up.
No.
So we've got the quad bike down there, just going to hook up the QE ute and move it into the pits.
Well, Ray, watching the live stream, Ray, hopefully won't be too long. We'll be seeing the Don back out here on track, as I mentioned earlier on commentary. Now that Croydon have got the fastest pass down the quarter mile for the RBs. Hopefully we'll see Anthony Matuk dust the covers off the Don. And we'll get that friendly rivalry happening again between Matuks and Croydon Racing Developments. Oh, the Commodore! That was aggressive,
Yeah.
Mark, off the start line.
It's on a good pass.
Wow.
10.9, 126 miles an hour.
Ladies-
13.3.
Wow, put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. That was an awesome pass. Wow. Well, Act Up is back out, Mark,
Yep.
in the Rocket Lane. He's taking on this beautiful looking ute. But just a little bit of fluid on the start line in the Rocket Lane. Geez, we've got some great sounding cars here tonight,
Yeah.
don't we? I know we've got some great sounding bikes, but tell you what, some of the cars that are out here tonight, and I've got both sides of the headphones on my ears, and then they still sound fat. So if you're not here at the track, I know it's one thing to hear it over the track mics, but if you hear it at the track, like all these awesome people up in the crowd, they're getting to experience it firsthand.
Also, if you go down into the viewing area, you're right next to the burnouts. You're hearing everything. You're smelling all that smoke and fuel. Nothing better.
I was just about to say, Mark, I can see Ross down there in the viewing area.
Yep.
Ross must have super good hearing because he doesn't wear earplugs. Tell you what, that ute, Mark, 1.57 in the 60 from him.
Yeah, it's on a good pass, isn't it?
It is a very good.
Wow. It's not too far off a 10-second pass. 11.1, 120 miles an hour.
Well, Mark, I'd like to welcome Michael Forward, who's just joined us on the live stream. He's first time or new here onto the
great.
stream, so welcome,
Sensational.
Michael. Welcome, mate.
Enjoy.
Enjoy what we've got to offer.
Mate, we're having a cracker of a night. Plenty of good racing. Great cars, great motorbikes.
And you've tuned in just at the right time as well, because the B2R Motorsports Civic is about to come out. Front-wheel drive drag car, nitrous. Those guys are well known for some very quick skylines, but this thing is mental. What a burnout.
Geez, that thing sounds great, doesn't it?
It does, it does. If you're a huge fan of sport, compact drag racing and imports like I am, love the sound of this Honda. Of course, in the US, they've got a lot more of them than we've got here in Australia. But this thing is awesome. I love it. When I'm down on the deck and that thing's screaming its head off right next to me, it's music to my ears.
Oh, dear. We've definitely got to put you on a mic once or twice. That's why it'd only be once or twice.
Well, Edwin said in Florida, the Hondas are known to oil down tracks.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right, I don't quite know what's going on with the B2R Motorsports Civic. The Saluka.
Okay, the reverse lights are on. I think they've just overshot the line.
Okay. Yeah.
I actually think it might have shut down, Stu, and they've just were firing it back up.
Yep. Well, credit to that Mustang driver being nice and patient. Well, 1.47 in the 60 there for the B2R Motorsports Civic. Runs on through 863 at 162. They've gone ballistic.
You've got to be happy with that. So the guys have been testing this for a while.
They have been testing it for a while. So my apologies to Salika, but I'll tell you what, that's one of the best passes I've seen out of that Honda for a long, long time. Obviously, you hit the nail on the head, Mark. You know, testing, and you know, they finally have reaped the rewards.
And again, as we say, Stewie, it's a street prep track.
That's right.
And they've turned that out. So, yeah, sensational. Oh, great pass for Centura. 9.2, 146.
Wow. really goes to show, not just people who are in the crowd that don't come here to Sydney Dragway all the time, but and also to everybody that's watching by the live stream.
Yep.
You know, it just goes to show that even on a street prep, Mark, you know, the amount, and we call it race for real, and it's you are racing for real, but it just goes to show just how much testing goes involved in the half track side of things before you can really get that real good baseline.
Well, you do see these guys, they'll just launch them out and then back off. And they'll do that meeting after meeting, just getting that data down right, getting all, you know, those increments perfect. Once they do that, then they go further into the track, go deeper down, you know, like once they get all those increments right for the full length of the track, they'll put in these passes. And mate, if you can get a full noise pass down on a street prep track, what are you going to be like in a competition meet?
Absolutely. You know, that's... And once again, that goes back to what you said earlier, Mark, about our track crew here at Sydney Dragway, just how good they can prep a track. And it just, the proof's in the pudding here on a Wednesday night.
Yep. And it's a really hard, for a street meet, it's probably really hard to get a street prep right compared to a race. Like,
that's right.
Because a race, you're going for the ultimate. Where with a street, you don't want to put too much into it because you don't want to start breaking street cars.
That's right.
So it's just that in between, but it's just got to be perfect.
Yeah.
So, and then, yeah, guys, you know, that's why we call them the A-team.
They
have it down perfect.
And then you go to the next thing and you go with the radial cars that are massive here in Australia now, and the amount of prep they need to get down the track.
Yes.
But look,
it's definitely a science in it.
It certainly is. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the driver of this Centura. He's been putting on some fantastic passes all night here at Aeroflow Race for Real. Thank you for bringing the car out, mate. We hopefully see you come out for another pass because that thing is on fire. Oh, I'll tell you what. I thought I saw Benji's beard start to waver a little bit. We've got the two big bikes about to have a drag race against each other. The big Harley down here in the rocket lane. And I think that is another Harley down there in the Aeroflow lane. But I'll tell you what, when you've got two big bikes like that, with big horsepower.
Well, Honda just gone through out into the pits.
Yeah.
So I dare say his crew will be out there hanging out for him to come through.
Oh, yeah.
Give him a big pat on the back. (12:2, 104 for the rocket lane and a 14:8.94 for the Aeroflow lane. Well, Harley out in front, but the bike in the rocket lane just goes way past him. 10:2, 143 to an 11:0, 119. Benj, we might move up to the big screen. We'll take a little bit of a break. We'll be back very, very shortly with Aeroflow Race for Real.
Stay informed, up to date and entertained thanks to Para News. Para News is Parramatta and the Cumberland area's leading free and local newspaper, delivering the best content from on-the-ground journalists and providing businesses with direct access to potential customers. News, sport, entertainment entertainment, puzzles, and so much more. Para News really is the heartbeat of Parramatta and Cumberland, and it's out every Tuesday. Get your free copy at selected locations in the area or check out paranews.com.au.
Bank said no to your home loan? Talk to us.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
Whether you're building a street machine or a race car, Aeroflow Performance has a solution for you. Our ever-increasing range features boosted turbocharger systems, Bosch Motorsport products, X-Pro electrical systems, hoses and fittings, bank shift shifters, differential parts, and fabrication components. You can see it all on aeroflowperformance.com.
Well, guys, welcome back to Aeroflow Race for Real. Great to see some great sponsors that continue and to support Sydney Dragway and this magnificent facility. Spit it out, Stu, that we have here. But okay, Antonio Scopoletti asked at Sydney Dragway official, can I run a 10-second pass with a standard LJ without a roll bar or cage? If it's slower than 1050, Antonio, yes you can. If it's faster than 1050, you will have to get a roll cage and a parachute. Well, it also depends on your mile an hour, but if it goes over 140 miles an hour, you would have to put a chute on your car. Yeah. But if you're running 10s, and particularly in a LJ, as long as you don't go quicker than 10.5 seconds, you should be fine. Oh, yeah, Antonio, that's right. You spoke to me 2 weeks ago. Yes, Mark interviewed you. That's right. You had the red LJ with the Chev in it.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, great car. Is he online? Hey, mate. Need to see you trying around here again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to see that thing in the 10s.
Yep. Doesn't matter if it's a 10.999.
Yep,
It's still in the 10s.
As long as it's got a 10 in front, it's all good. It just gets better from there.
That's it. Sometimes a bit more expensive as well, but
well, that's,
depends on how far you want to go. But if you want consistent times,
it's the worst thing about drag racing. You get a good time. Yeah, I want a better time.
Absolutely.
Greed takes over.
Yep.
Yeah. Free motors later, you go fast.
Antonio just said, I'm getting tyres soon.
Yep.
Good.
Good, that's it, yeah. Because he was running on some streets.
That's right. Yep.
Yep.
And that's the best way to go about it, Antonio. Just stick the tyres on it, bring it out, see what it likes.
Yep.
There's some cars, you know, you put a set of radials on the rear end of it, it might change the whole dynamic of the car. You might have to play around with the suspension. You just don't know until you bring it out.
Yeah. You get a good set of tyres under it, you'll start playing with tyre pressures. Do a little bit of research on tyre height, tyre size. Before you go and buy buy something,
Yeah.
buy a good set. It's easy to say, you know, like, but spend the right money.
That's right.
It costs you a little bit more, but you get a good set, you'll be happy with them, and that will be, you know, more than likely your brand you'll stick with, and yeah, you just improve from there. You, as I say, you know, like we had 2 drivers in our car, and between the 2 of us, different tyre pressures, and you know, like it took a lot of mucking around to work that out and got it right, and once we got those tyre pressures right and the rest of the car was set up perfect, it just worked. It was, yeah, that's, yep, and that's dead true. You know, like we were playing, I think it was about a PSI between the pair of us, yeah, of how we had the tyres set up. And Galvin had a different driving to me. He liked his huge burnouts where I didn't. I like to launch it really hard off the line, so you know, we just drove in different ways.
This BMW down here, it's got a little sticker on the rear window. Now, it's a bit hard to read from up here, but it kind of looks a little bit like an Advan sticker. Now, if that's who it is, that workshop's actually been out here many a time here at Sydney Dragway and helping out various cars. And they've had some pretty quick street cars over the years, but he's taken on this R33, which has had a bit of a problem just trying to stick to the track. And once again, just heading towards centerline, not really where you want to be.
Yeah, he did. I think he's just playing around with the trans brake.
Yeah.
He's probably, you know, like, I think first one come out, just blew the tyres off it. You know, he's probably just way too much revs for that.
Yeah.
And he's just coming down in the rev range.
And that's the big thing, you know, you mentioned it earlier with the B2R guys, you know, get in the car, doing laps, doing short times, and working it out from there. I mean, I know they're 2 entirely different vehicles, but they're both turbo. Admittedly, one's rear-wheel drive, but you've got a lot of weight in that Skyline as well, compared to the Civic.
Yeah, you got to put a rev range in it that it can leave the line and hook up. You don't want something that does happen. That, you know, like you put a higher rev range. You know, like if you leave the line at $4.5 and blow the tyres off it, you know, way too much. Yeah. Yeah. Which this one is. It's only rear-wheel drive. So.
All right, the Mazda Familia up against the i30N. The Mazda is out like a scalded cat, 1.86 in the 60.
Yeah, I don't think there's any catching that. And goes through 12.9, 105 miles an hour to a 13.8.
Yeah, great pass there from the Mazda wagon. All right, the Falcon out in the rocket lane. Oh, I can hear those tyres screeching for traction to about 60 foot of the racetrack in the Aeroflow lane. Goes a 12.33 with a 7.
And 13.1 for the rocket lane.
All right, got a pair of Hondas down on track. It's great to see the Honda scene starting to make a bit of a resurgence here at Sydney Dragway in Aeroflow Race for Real. Hey Spot, welcome back.
Well, 15.1, 96 miles an hour to a 15.3 at 94 miles an hour.
All right, the little Volkswagen Golf about to take on the FPV.
You know what, Stu? The young lady in the VW Up. Remember, she was taking that car off the road to do some mods.
Yes.
So I dare say we hopefully see her out here soon with the revised version of the Up.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to see what she's going to do with that car.
Yeah.
Because it's not a car that you see very often on the road, number one. Secondly, you don't see a lot of them racing. And she was super consistent with that car. I mean, she could have come to a bracket meet and she probably could have won the event. It was that consistent. But now that she's starting to play around with it a little bit, and be interested to see what she does. And, you know, hopefully that inspires a few more younger generation females to go, you know what? I don't need a fast car. I can just come out and have fun and race. And
but I think that thing was running around consistent 19s.
It was, yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So can you imagine that car with a GTI motor in it?
Oh, with the weight of it, it'd be crazy.
Yeah. Be a fun car.
I mean, he brought it here to a bracket meet and a New South Wales State Champ rounds.
Yep.
You know, you put it in the Street Fighter class, you're running consistent 19s.
Yeah.
Consistently, as long as you can get your reaction times right, I'll tell you what, you'd be knocking a few seasoned veterans out of contention.
Yep. Yeah, she's definitely went the right way about it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, can't wait to see that car back out here. You know, like what she's done to it and to where she'll be at. But yeah, and she was very consistent driver.
And that's why I get excited when I see kids that have raced junior dragster and then they step up and either go sedan racing.
Yep.
Or, you know, they step into a street car class and, you know, and they're so used to leaving off the foot brake.
Yeah.
Once they get their head around what their car does, I mean, you could be racing for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
You know, but you could have one of these young guns step up, come out and just blow you out of the water and you're like, where did that come from? Like, who's driving?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And it's so good to see young people getting into the sport and like their mums and dads helping them out. And, you know, we're very fortunate, Mark, that junior drag bike is now widely recognised around the country. And there's a lot of kids that are in that now. And that's an exciting category.
That is, yeah, and it was about time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely.
We had junior dragster for a long time. So, yeah, there was plenty of noise behind the bike and the bike scene of it. So, yeah, now it's here. It's here to stay.
It is.
And it's a great bracket.
Oh, the Crusader. Yakuza Motorsports supported Crusader, winding it up in the Burnout. Well, the Honda has got the jump. The Crusader is coming back at him. I think he might have this. Yes, he does. Drove around him at the deep end.
Yeah.
1440.
Great stuff. 14.8 and 96 miles an hour.
Spike's asking, is America running junior funny car? I heard they are. I know that there have been junior funny cars back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't believe we've had any in the last, well, at least while I've been commentating drag racing, we haven't had a junior funny car. We've got the Subaru WRX about to come out now. The rally bred weapon. As we say in Australia to our international viewers, get your mang on. Got the V6 Commodore down here in the Aeroflow lane.
Yeah, not really punishing those tyres, was he?
No, not really. Just getting him body in the spectator area, a little bit of tyre smoke. I mean, Ross is used to it, so he probably can't smell it anyway. That's his favourite spot down there in the viewing area. We've got to get Ross back on the drag strip, Mark.
Yeah, needs to bring the Commodore out.
Yeah, we've got to get you back out, Ross, on the quarter mile.
Tell you what, 15.7 for that ute is not too bad for a 6-cylinder Commodore.
No, that's pretty.
The V6.
That is pretty good. We've got the Skyline now taking on the B&W. Yeah, Spike, I did see the video of Bruce Leak, who brought out his rebuilt Pro Stock Pontiac out to do some testing. It's great to see Bruce back behind the wheel of his Pro Stock car after his bit of an accident that he had. Of course, one of the stalwarts of Pro Stock racing here in Australia. And he's very much part of the architecture of that class.
Nice big burnout from the chaser.
Yeah, Pro Stock Spike has been an exciting class of late. There's been some very, very good times throughout that whole class, and they've started to step it up a little bit.
11.1, 128 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane to a 13.1 at 112 miles an hour. No.
All right, well, we've got this VP Commodore, which is about to come out again, Mark. It's got the chaser rims on it. Looking quite sedate, but definitely not sedate when he gets on the drag strip. Right, well, just cleaning up just a little bit of fluid on the start line. Our start line crew have got extremely good eyes when it comes to picking up even the smallest drop of fluid.
Yeah, not too much gets past them.
No. Of course, Billy down there, who's one of the well-known starters, not just here in Sydney, but around the country as well.
Yeah, been doing it for a good amount of time.
Yeah, he's
very knowledgeable.
Been doing it since the Castle Ray days here in Sydney.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree, DJ Prowse. It wasn't good to see Matty Abel, unfortunately, had the accident in his 57 Pro Slammer. Of course, they only just got the car back, Mark. They rebuilt it after an accident over in Perth in the sand trap, and they fixed it, brought it out here, and he went into the 5.7s, and then unfortunately it sheared the wheel nut, and
jeez,
put the thing into the wall. Unfortunately, that's the way of racing, isn't it, Mark? You either have luck or you don't.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you just those types of things. You as much as you prep and like and service the vehicles, that those things do happen. It's just beyond control.
And it's funny, Mark, because it can even happen at this level of racing too, can't it? And we've seen it happen on a Wednesday night.
Yep.
All right, this little Lancer.
Oh,
man!
Geez.
Tell you what.
Lively indeed. Jeez. Look at the ET to the miles an hour. Hey? 12.8, 138 miles an hour. Like that thing just virtually from a third of a track onwards, it just come alive.
I mean, I know we're used to seeing the pro street Evos go like that, but when you're in more a street-based car and you're making your way into no man's land, as we call it, where there's not much prep at all, that's a drive job and a half.
100%, yep.
All right, this beautiful-looking Tirana.
With LX hatchback. 11.6, 119 miles an hour.
That's a great pass from that Tirana, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
All naturally aspirated. It has got a set of radials on the rear end of it, but beautiful looking car, and a credit to the owner. Like that's another car you wouldn't want to race up in the bracket meet.
No.
All right, Mark, it's time for the old school boys to get on track now. The shift right assisted Monaro up against the Pontiac.
Yeah, look at this Monaro just reeling in.
Wow.
Trans Am goes past him.
Wow, 10.24, 135. Man.
This is a pass we want to see. The two utes side by side.
That is absolutely crazy. I'll tell you, Mick out there in the blue ute, he's out in front in 11.08, 120 to a 12.06. All right, the Saluka with a nitrous on board, taking on Craft. This very nice looking VF Commodore. Perch of the nitrous there from the Saluka on the start line. Kraft is out of there with a 1.64. And a bit of smoke coming out of the back of the Saluka from just after half track onwards.
Okay, I think we're just going to have a little bit of a look at the track.
Yeah, I'll be having a look at that as well, just quietly. That Mustang, though, is sounding so nice.
And we can hear the sound of the Honda coming through.
Yeah. But we will have to check the track. Wasn't a massive amount of smoke, but it was enough that we have to take it into consideration that there could be something down there. It could be a very, very fine spray.
Yeah, it all looks good so far there, Stu. We've got the guys just coming back over the fence.
All right, looks like all sectors are clear, so we're going to send this very nice looking sounding Mustang down the Aeroflow lane.
And then right up behind it, we've got the Commodore and the Honda. Been hanging out for this Honda to come back and put in another pass.
Great to see another first-timer out here tonight too, Mark, at Aeroflow Race for Real in this beautiful-looking Commodore. Oh, the Stang in 11:37. Great pass from him.
Oh, I'd be interested to see if this VK is a genuine Brock car. It's got all the right gear on it. But I'll tell you what, I don't think it's going to work for it up against this Honda.
No, well, the Honda went 8.63 seconds on its last pass. This Commodore, though, has got a fair bit of mumbo, and I wonder if it's got an LS in it.
Don't know.
It's certainly generated a lot of smoke in the Burnout. It's obviously got some horsepower in there. Right, well, the Commodore might have a turbo on it, Mark.
Might do.
1.75 in the 60 from the Commodore. 11.18, good pass there from the Commodore. We're just going to wait for this Civic to do its thing. All right, well, he's been told to go by our starter, so I don't believe he'll be getting a reset. He'll have to drive on through. Or he'll have to. Well, he's already rolled the beam, Mark.
Okay, we'll see how we go, whether they are going to give him a restart or not.
Oh, tell you what.
Yeah.
They put a little bit more boost in it. 2.23 to the 60.
We've done a great job to hang on to that.
He did.
Yep.
Put your hands together. Great burnout there from Act Up in the rocket lane. Tell you what, that car gets off the line so well.
Yeah, it does indeed. Whoa, the ute.
Jeez. 4.6 seconds mark to 330 foot. and goes 10.79.
Wow.
129. Wow.
Good pass from both those cars. 10.7 and an 11.2.
Wow.
So we've got the Centura back out. This car has been turning out some really good passes tonight as well.
Yeah, it is a great looking car, this one. All right, this VX Commodore with nitrous. Good reaction time, 0.025 on the tree. 10.77 with a 5. Tell you what, they're starting to wick it up now.
Oh, they are indeed.
Don't know what the current air temperature outside is, but I can tell you it must be damn good because the NA cars are putting down some super quick times. All right.
Well, 20 degrees out there at the moment.
Ah, beautiful.
– 76 humidity.
Yeah, right. We're still running some very good times.
They are indeed, yeah.
All right, the Centura. Been running some great passes all night. A 1.27 in the 60 this time, Mark.
Wow.
Oh, look at 9.100, 147 miles per hour. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. What a great pass there from the Centura.
That car is hooking up better than Joe's.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
That is unbelievable.
And he's got a smaller rear tyre on
Yep.
it too. Much smaller rear tyre.
Just see the way it left though. Just left, pick the two front wheels up, just a small amount, dead straight all the way down the track. Well set up.
Wow. Well, 13.02 to a 14.44 into the bikes. And we got the Hayabusa back out in the Aeroflow lane. Huge thank you to Aeroflow Performance for their continued support here of off-street drag racing here in Sydney.
Yeah, they supported the track for a long time, and it really is appreciated, and it's great that they've been right behind the track all the way through.
Of course, all our other fantastic sponsors, Pepper Money, VP Race Fuels, Platinum Racing Products, just to name a few. Well, the Boozer is on a cracker pass, a 9.77 with a 5 and 143.
And 10.8, 138 miles now for the Rocket Lane. The guys on the bikes have been having a great night tonight.
They've been putting in some tremendous passes and some pretty wild launches as well, just quietly. Oh, the Centura came up the return road. Make some noise, Sydney. What a great pass there from him. Well, I hope you come back, my friend. What a pass, man. I tell you, what a car.
Yeah, that is.
All right, the Harley with the ape hangers. Well, a pair of red lights, but a little bit tamer off the start line this time from the Harley. Goes 1.65 in the 60. And 11.01. Great pass from him. And 11.96 there in the Rocket Lane. All right, we've got this Jexa. down here in the Aeroflow lane, which I believe is 1,000cc. I keep thinking it's Wesley, but I'm not sure if it is or not. Because he normally likes to go head-to-head with Wally Hoster.
Yep.
Well, 0-1-0 on the tree, Mark, in the Aeroflow lane. Oh, 954, 152.4 miles per hour. Oh, man, that's quick.
Yeah, as we said, the guys on the bikes are really turning it up tonight.
I totally agree with you, DJ Prowse. Yeah, I totally agree with you, mate.
Got to bring it out now. Got to bring it out.
Now, I'm not sure yet if we've got any burnouts tonight. I've not heard anything. So I'm unsure at the moment as to whether we do have burnouts this evening. But don't forget, guys, next week, Sydney Random Rides are coming to invade Aeroflow Race for Real. It's going to be a huge turnout next week. The whole gang are coming out. They got a bike cruise to here to the track, and we have a lot of their members doing some racing.
Yeah, should throw it out there to the guys on the bikes, see if they can outnumber the cars.
I reckon they could.
Yeah,
I reckon they'd be pretty close. Well, the guys and girls.
Yeah.
You're only racing yourself. You can race your mates, but
yep.
You know, for the most part, you are racing yourself.
Well, the GT 750 Suzuki back out. As Stu said, the Widowmaker, the water bottle, numerous names for that bike.
I haven't heard that one, the water bottle, before.
Yeah.
Brett Copping on board. 738 cc's on board. According to what we've got up here, I think that might be a little bit of a lie, just quietly.
Well, not as good a reaction what he cut earlier, 000.
It still goes 1066 with a 5, though, 124.
And 12.6, 105 miles now for the Rocket Lane.
All right, Michael Riches from over St Ives Way here in Sydney on board his stretched Suzuki GSX-R 750, the AMS water meters, sponsored a modified bike. Oh, listen to that Suzuki scream, 1.73 in the 60. It goes at 10.24 with a 5 at 133 as we're back into the cars. We got this rear-wheel drive Skyline.
Definitely putting a lot more heat in the tyres this time.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see how he gets it off the line. Been struggling with the car to get it down the track. It usually gets out of the 60 and then just absolutely nukes the tyres. Trans brake on.
Well, this BMW's been running well all night. Oh, just lit the rear bag on the hit. Certainly on a march on this pass and goes 11.11 with a 3 at 137.
Yeah, so apart from that little turn of the tyres off the line from then on, it held well.
There's a potential there, Mark, for a high 1090 out of that car.
Yeah, 100%.
On this surface, anyway. All right, the Hondas back out. We got Keg out here in the Rocket Lane. He's going to be taking on the Silver Civic. Well, I think the Silver Civic, he's got the jump. Reaction time was a little bit slower, but he's quicker in the 60, 2.15 to 2.37. As we got the Mazda Familia back out, the Mazda rotary wagon. He's going to be taking on the Honda.
Mazda goes through 12.8, 106 miles an hour to a 15.2 at 94 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's right, Brett. There were two Honda Civics that went down before. That pass, we had the Mazda Rotary up against another Honda. As we got another Honda up against the Volkswagen. Well, the Honda down here in the Aeroflow lane just staged out of the groove and just moved towards the centre line as I kind of expected. But a 1484 there for the Golf to a 1559. All right, this VP is back out with the gold rims. It's a bit of a favourite car for the people that are watching via the live stream on Facebook and YouTube on our Sydney Dragway official pages.
Yeah, VP SS Commodore looks good.
It does look good, doesn't it? I think I actually prefer the mark in the white compared to the green or the grey.
Yeah.
Oh, a bit of smoke coming out at the back of the Falcon Ute.
I'd probably say my favourite out of those would have been the SV5000.
The dark green
Yep.
one? Yep.
Just totally different shape to everything.
Yes. They had a pretty, they had a high capacity motor too, didn't they? The SV5000s at the time, compared to some of the other
No,
HSVs?
they're still 5 litres.
But were they were still 5 litres, but were they pumping out more horsepower?
Oh,
compared
yeah,
to-
they were a higher.
uprated-
Yeah.
Yeah, they uprated the horsepower, didn't they?
Yep. Yeah, well, yeah, it was minimal, but yeah, they were a high capacity.
Oh, PSI XD getting a little bit loose at about 80 foot. Gathered it up. And on the brakes just before the finishing line goes in 11.62 with the 9. That grabbed his attention.
It definitely woke him up for sure.
I agree with you, DJ Prowse. That VP in white does look amazing. Well, I hope everybody up in the crowd is enjoying all the racing this evening here at Aeroflow Race for Real. Don't forget, guys, we do have some big burnout events that are coming up in the first half of the year. And for all the information, guys, make sure you do jump onto the Sydney Dragway webpage, sydneydragway.com.au, or jump onto our Facebook page. And you can see all the events that are coming up here at the place where excitement lives. All right, we've got Nissan up against Subaru. G'day, Mad Cow Mark. How are you, mate? Watching via the live stream. Well, the Subi gets the win, 13.91. I thought the Nissan had that then, Mark.
Yeah. Well, actually a bit of a distance between the pair. A 15.3 to a 13.9.
The Mazda RX-8 winding it up in the Burnout. All right, the Yakuza Motorsports Cressida is back out. Oh, check out the Burnout. Put your hands together, Sydney. Make some noise. Hell yes, I love a Burnout with a little bit of attitude. A little bit of style. I reckon that's the best way to do a Burnout.
Yep.
Whether you're on the Burnout pad or you're drag racing. He's taking on this beautiful looking Commodore. Oh, 12.51 and 115 for the Cressida. That was a good pass from him.
And 13.3 at 101 miles an hour for the Rocket.
Trans Am's been putting on some great passes all tonight.
Yeah, he's been going well.
Well, that Lancer, starting to get the Lancer wiggle going on, Mark. Not as pronounced on this pass. A 12.35 with a 4 at 149.
13.2, 107 miles an hour. Just the miles an hour on that car is just phenomenal. Like, just mid-track, it just absolutely ignites, doesn't it?
And for a full-blown street car as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's some impressive, not just miles an hour, but
It's
times as well.
Running, must be a huge boost.
Must be. The 355 Torrey out now in the rocket lane. Just pops up that left front wheel. The Territory gets a better reaction time, but the Tirana is out of there. Half track, 7.47. And it runs on through an 11.64 at 119 to 14.81.
We've got the Falcon up against the VF Commodore.
So I'm a little bit unsure at the moment as to whether we do have any burnout cars. My guess is no, but we shall see. Okay, guys, just been told that we do have burnout cars that are out the back. I didn't see them come through. I've been concentrating on the racing and it's been super exciting tonight.
Well, Commodore goes 11.6, 118 miles an hour to a 10.7, 129 for the Falcon.
Yeah, totally agree. It's an RC car. Great start to the year. Let it continue. We've had an awesome start to the year. And hopefully 2024 is the year off street drag racing.
Yep, it has definitely been a sensational night. Oh, Commodore just booted out sideways. Just cruising on up the track from here. And we are moving back into the bikes.
So guys, if you love your burnouts, make sure you put in your diaries the 22nd. We've got Aeroflow Tyre Thrashing Thursday here at Sydney Dragway, our dedicated burnout night. So make sure you come out for that one, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a great atmosphere at Tyre Thrashing Thursday. I never know who's going to come through the gate until the day. But you never know. We could have some pro cars turn up. Could have a whole heap of street and modified base cars.
13.1, 102 miles an hour to a 14.4 at 86 miles an hour. Yeah, it did, Benj. The Harley got real out of shape then. Well, he's definitely putting in some work on the lights. Been getting lots of red lights, but it just means he's really concentrating on pushing for a good time.
I'll tell you what, the bike next to him, 10.16. All right, this very quick Suzuki 1000. Spike's asking, anyone know what happened to Alf Sharker's supercharged Outlaw Lambo? Well, look, as far as I know, Spike, they've still got the car. Last I heard from Alf, they had resprayed the car. I don't know whether it's the same colour, but as far as I know, they've still got it. I'll send Alf a message, and I will ask him. 9.39 with an 8. At 154 miles per hour.
And 11.3, 120 miles an hour for the Rocket Lane.
Man, if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what would.
Yeah.
Well, guys, the burnout cars are coming out, so I might make my way downstairs and I'll let Mark continue with the commentary. Check 1, 2.
Well, bike in the Aeroflow lane, getting a little bit out of the race line. 11.6, 114 miles an hour to a 12.7, 113 miles an hour. All right, 16.3, 81 miles an hour. Well, we do have the pocket rocket himself, Stu. He's wandering down now to the burnout pad. So we do have the burnout cars just making way down. They'll go down near the rocket sign, turn around, come back and line up. In the meantime, we are just clearing on the racetrack there, getting ready for the burnouts. So it looks like it's well and truly taken care of by all our security people, making our job so much easier. All right, we'll go to the big screen while we're waiting, and we will be back very, very shortly with Burnouts. Aeroflow, race for real.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's,
We've also got Shannon's Home and Contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
I've chosen to use VP Racing Fuel since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now. I just have a really personal trust with VP Racing Fuels.
Running on the ragged edge of blowing up and not, a lot of it has to do with the race fuel, and that's what we rely on, VP Racing Fuels.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent, it's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
Aeroflow, famous for our massive range of hose, fittings and performance products. Air filters, oil filters, fittings, engine and transmission parts, fuel systems, tanks, silicone hose, exhaust, air conditioning, turbo and nitrous accessories and more. Get your free catalogue and shop online now at aeroflowperformance.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aeroflow Race for Real. It is time for the Burnout. So if you're watching via the live stream, make sure you get your phones turned up. Everybody here in the crowd, hope you guys are ready for some skids. Vex Fryan is our first car out, and he will be coming out for a second skid a little bit later. But it is great to see one of the cars from Club Bang Nation here this evening for Aeroflow Race for Real. Just going to wait for our team to get in position, and then we'll be ready to hit the burnout pad. Here for tonight's Aeroflow Race for Real. Sydney Dragway makes some noise for VX flying. We'll see that car back out a little bit later. All right, next up, we've got the Commodore about to come out. All right, got 7 seconds. Can you get that other tyre off? So you can get that left rear to pop. Sydney Dragway, put your hands together for the driver of Commodore as he takes it off the pad. He wasn't far off getting that left rear off. All right, next up, we got the Commodore wagon. It's time for the long roofs to do what they do best. we got a barbecue underneath. Sydney Dragway, make some noise for the wagon. Well, there wouldn't be burnouts without a fire, let's be honest. We're coming up on the pad very soon. I actually didn't recognise the car, number one, when it came out from the tunnel. Secondly, when it lined up. But Mr. Sandy is in the house. And I've just been told he's going to be doing a gender reveal as well. And apparently the Mr. Sandy fans are up the top in the grandstand somewhere. Where are you guys? Are you guys ready? Don't forget, guys, Aeroflow Tyre Thrashing Thursday is coming up here at Sydney Dragway in a couple of weeks on the 22nd. All right, Sydney, please put your hands together for the wagon. Got out there and gave it a go. All right, guys, Mr. Sandy is about to come out. We've still got VX Frying that'll be coming out for the last skid. Now, we've got a gender reveal. Hands up or make some noise if you think it's a girl. Oh, there's a few people. How many up in the grandstand reckon it's a boy? A few more. I'm leaning more towards a girl. We may have to do a quick clean up on the pad. I think there's a fair bit of oil there that maybe our team might just have to clean up quickly. But look, a huge thank you to everybody that has come out this evening here at Sydney Dragway for Aeroflow Race for Real. I'll be honest, Mark and I and Ben, we're a little bit unsure as to how many people we're going to get tonight, obviously with the weather. But thankfully, we had a great turnout of drag racers, burnout competitors and bike racers as well. And next week, by the sound of it, it's going to be even bigger than this week. So don't miss out, guys. Make sure you grab your tickets online to save yourself some money. And come out here for Aeroflow, a race for real tonight. Even if I'm not commentating, I'm going to come out. Because I'll come out and support the races and let my hair down. May even race myself. Maybe.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stu, we've had a great night tonight, as you did say. We've had some really quick cars and a lot of the chrome bumper bar cars and a good mixture of everything, haven't we?
Yeah, we had an awesome turnout tonight. Also pretty encouraging, Mark, to see a few of the steel bumper cars also make their way out as well. They're very, I wouldn't say they're hit and miss, but a lot of them don't tend to come out unless it's a theme night. But to see them come out tonight and put on an awesome show for everybody watching around the world and for all our spectators that have come out to watch the off-street drag racing tonight here at the track. Well, guys, we're just going to quickly clean up the pad with a little bit of kitty litter. And then we will be very soon to getting Mr. Sandy out onto the pad for his gender reveal. So what we might do, guys, while we're just doing this quick clean up, we might just throw up from a few words from our sponsors. And we'll be back very, very soon here at Aeroflow Race for Real. All right, well, a little change in plan. VX Frying is coming out, so it looks like Mr. Sendy is going to do the last skid. Great stuff there from VX Frying. Good stuff there from VX Frying. Two great skids out of that car. All right, it's time for Mr. Sandy. Our gender reveal, what's it going to be? Sydney Dragway, put your hands together for Mr. Sandy, the first skid in that car, which I've been working on through the Christmas New Year break. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for tonight's Aeroflow Race for Real. Hopefully we will see Mr. Sandy back for Aeroflow Tyre Thrashing Thursday, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, please be safe on the way home. There are police out and about. Most importantly, there are people out in the pits and there's kids out in the pits. So please be very careful. We'll see you next week. Huge thank you to Mark, Thomas and Ben up there in the commentary box. Fantastic effort, boys, once again.
Yeah, thanks, Stu, and to everyone, safe trip home. See you again here. Aeroflow, Race for Real.